Going live. That's what you doing today.
All right.
So I wrote this piece called Pandemically Speaking.
So I think, yeah, I'm ready whenever you guys are ready.
It's rolling. Playing the new
I
tunes.
just want to share a little bit.
Pandemically Speaking by Speakeasy.
Yo, no liberty, no justice for all. We lost the mind, all buried for no reason at all. Grandma used to say, peace be still, trying to stay my ass at home. This pandemic is ill.
Yes, y'all. You are now tuned into the Melodrama Podcast,
President is saying,
episode number 31. I go by the name of Speakeasy, joined by JG, Big Trip,
us is giving the economy ventilators, trying to social distance.
Heads and 29s. Fellas, man, this is gonna be a different kind of podcast today, man. Yeah, this is gonna be a different one right here. What I wanted to do, honestly, before we dive right into the what's very, very pressing and all over the place as far as media, social media, I wanted to just start off and force us to just have quick short discussions about something that's bright, something that's good that's going on, right now, because we can lose sight that is actual good going on because there is just this continued pattern of atrocities going on. So I think we can't lose sight of those good things. And I'll start, but I'll say two things really short and sweet. My second oldest daughter, she for her because due to this time that we're in, we couldn't do one traditionally, and I have to say that it was really dope.
What was that? Yeah, I think it cut out.
She has some adult cousins. Can you guys hear me?
Transforming.
Yeah, you transforming right now.
Oh, shit.
Older cousins came over and drank, you said?
Okay. What about now? Can you guys hear me?
A little better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move a little bit, so I'm gonna turn my camera off and come right back. Until then, you guys just talk about something that's going well with you all.
All right.
Word. We got you, man. Trip was
JG,
good,
you
man.
got the most news, man.
Who that, me?
Yeah, man.
No, not really, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you talking about with the boy?
You got like 18,000 scholarship offers,
man. For real.
Damn.
Like in the last month, he got 13 of them.
That's amazing.
From some big schools too, man. Youngin doing this thing, man.
That's amazing.
They that shit is crazy how it's been going on, dude. And just pretty much dumb luck, man. We made some videos of his workouts, and apparently they had a lot of these coaches had questions about him, and them damn videos answered them. I made that shit on my phone, dude.
Was he a senior this year or senior going into next year?
He's a senior going into next year. He'd be a senior in September.
Yeah, that's not dumb luck. No, man, that's something that coaches send out videos like that no more. So that's what you're supposed to do. That's how you get your son that exposure, man. You just did your job.
Right. Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying that specifically, though, because they have video on them. All their games are videotaped. They had all the games, but they still had questions about, certain abilities. Did he have certain abilities and whatnot? And his workouts, his pandemic workouts, man, just happened to show that, yeah, he could do some of the shit they wasn't sure he could do. You know what I'm saying? That's what I meant when I said just dumb luck, because a lot of this shit was wrong. I wasn't even trying to record it. The trainer he work out with, they do, he kind of just do drills at random. You know what I'm saying? When he feel like it. And So we had one drill. He got this weighted ball, weigh like 6-7 pounds or something, whatever. And he was having Trey, go through the legs, switch left, switch right, attack the rim, and dunk. So my dumb ass, I'm like, damn, he could dunk a weighted ball. That's kind of cool. So I'm recording some shit, right? So while I'm waiting on him to dunk the heavy ball again, we got the rest of the shit. You know what I mean? So then he was like, well, Pops, I'll just send that. I was getting ready to erase it, man, because I was mad it wasn't a weighted ball dunk no more and shit. And we sent all that shit out. Dude, phone blew up. See, his offense, he's not the primary ball handler. They had two great point guards with Darius and Kobe Johnson. And then they had Darius Bolden and Kobe Johnson. And then a lot of times Jalen Johnson bring the ball up. So Trey will be he do a lot of catch and shoot.
Plays off the ball.
Cut to the basket, he play off the ball. The biggest question these recruits had about him is, can he create his own shot off the dribble? Because in the way the offense for the team runs, he rarely had to do that. And then the workouts, that's what was in the workouts. It was primarily creating his own shot off the dribble, and then they play king of the court at the end of the workout. It's just one-on-one at this end of the court. You make the bucket, you get the rebound, you go down, you one-on-one against a dude on that end.
Wow.
And back and forth. So it's all creating off the dribble. And then once they saw he could do it, then the motherfucking phone blew up, dog.
Wow. That's awesome,
getting
man.
interviews and shit, man, dog. I talked to Jerry Stackhouse. I talked to Tom Izzo, the coach of Michigan State.
Nice.
Pat Ewing. Man, this shit it's crazy, dude. For me, it's crazy. I can't imagine what it's like for him.
So how do you guys, as a parental unit, especially you being a sports guy, right? When you're talking to a Tom Izzo, so there's, so if I'm just projecting, right? If I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, there's a side of me that's like, holy shit, that's Tom Izzo.
Right.
Izzo. But then the other side is like, yo, this is my baby.
Yep.
So I don't give a fuck who you are. Wow.
Man.
That's very difficult. That's very difficult.
I'm the one with the fan glasses on most of the time. The wife is mama bear the whole time.
Nice.
She's mama bear the whole time. But, when, Dwayne Wade, my favorite player, and Tom Crean offered him a scholarship. That was Dwayne's coach at Marquette.
Yes.
So I had to bring Dwayne up, asking him a few questions about Dwayne, because a lot of people don't know, man, the basketball world didn't think shit of Dwayne.
They didn't.
Until Marquette in that Final Four.
I heard about, even before he played, I heard, like, when they were playing, I heard before his season, they're like, it's this kid who's, like, going bonkers in practice named Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the basketball world didn't know about him at all. And then Dwayne will even say it, man, when he got to Marquette, he wasn't that good. That jump he made from freshman year to junior year, that's because of the work he put in with Tom Crean.
Gotcha.
So now that's in my head. When I'm on the call with this motherfucker, he talking about what he gonna do for my son.
Yeah.
So but I got to keep my poker face and shit.
Wow, man.
So yeah,
dude,
this shit is it's interesting, man, for real.
That's
now the boy got, before in March he had 3 schools. He had 3 in the possible in March. And now he got like 17 and some more coming next week. UCLA, USC, and there's a couple more supposed to be calling next week.
Yeah, the last graphic I saw, I was like, yo, that's a lot of logos, fam.
Yeah, for real, man.
That's a lot of logos.
And they all great dudes, man. Dude, I watched the documentary on Leonard Hamilton down at Florida State. Then he offered the boy a scholarship.
Damn.
He was pretty much first black coach to do every motherfucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Basically.
Yeah.
And had a great convo with, man, it's a lot. It's a lot, Speak. For
man,
real. But
that's what's up.
It's one of them good problems to have. You know what I mean?
That's good.
But
That's good.
then the flip side is, while I'm trying to enjoy all of this, then the world was basically like, nigga, fuck your joy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So did
we'll
I miss
get
any?
into that after everybody else share their good
I was gonna say,
shit.
did I get anybody else? Did anybody else share good news yet?
No, I tried to get Trip to go first. He made me stop. Trip was like, nigga, you the one with the good news. I'm like, man.
Okay.
Man, that shit needed to be heard, man.
Yeah.
You gotta celebrate. You gotta celebrate that shit, man. Like, it's cool to be modest and all that, but I mean, good shit is good shit.
Yeah, man.
And that's some shit. Your son earned that shit, man. Like, that wasn't like no by happenstance shit. Like, you put in the work.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so celebrate that shit, man.
That's one thing you can't. That's one thing you can't silver spoon.
Right. Because dude was like, man, even one of the coaches was like, how the hell did you find a gym during the pandemic?
Right.
You know what I mean? And my son, he played a gangster. He was like, can't really speak on that. You know what I mean? And then, but the coach was like, man, I admire your work ethic. That's, you know what I mean? That's a lot, man, to, you know, go find a place to put in work to get better during this time. And he was like,
everything closed.
Yeah. And everything
honestly,
closed.
And coming off of, like, you know, the world was talking about the MJ documentary and whether it be good or bad, but there's one thing that I think we all can agree on, Trip, especially you, because you actually played, you know, you suited up as a collegiate athlete.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain level of mental focus that, to me, if that's what separates these collegiate elite players that then go on to be professional elite players. There's something mentally that they just lock in ways that normal people, but some people thrive like that in the workplace. There's some people that get in that zone professionally, but like when it comes to athletes, it's just that mental edge, man. And it seems like your son is displaying a lot of these characteristics, which is really cool to be like a fan of, like a fly on the wall.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's different.
Man, it's not even the ones that make it pro. It's just the fact of making period and actually staying like especially you're talking like D1, like there's nobody babying you, dude.
Right.
That's like real work. Like when you're not in class, you in practice or you in the weight room, like you putting in work,
right?
And to do that, and one to do that and to do it consistently for, you're talking like 4 years, sometimes 5 if you end up being like a redshirt freshman. That's like work. Like that's a lot of dedication, and most of those people don't become pro athletes because, you know, there's so many collegiate athletes, but that dedication and that hard work will eventually it'll eventually translate into some other area in their life. But like just to even get there,
that's real, bro.
So like, man.
That's real. He got a dose of that. Yeah, now that stuff's opening up, man. He had a couple runs with some pros, and you know, a lot of cats from overseas, a few NBA cats, and you know, he's young. He's 16.
Right, because everybody at home right now.
Right, everybody home. He's 16. He'll be 17 the end of next month. But so he's young. You know, he'll be a baby when he go to college. And so now them pros, you know, there was a little bit of hating going on. There was a little bit of I'm the shit going on. They was freezing him out, right? And he was getting pissed off. I could see it. But I'm like, so he was frustrated, man. He got him a few buckets and stuff, but he was like, you know, man, I'm going to switch teams. These months, they on some bullshit. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, nah, fam, you got the man up. And this is the best time for you to see this lesson. Because when your ass walk on the college court as a freshman, your whole team gonna do that shit to you.
Yeah.
You coming in, you gonna be taking a minutes. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta play through that shit and figure out a way to get buckets. What you need to do, them motherfuckers ain't pass you the ball. You see they bricking all them shots, man, get the rebound and coast to coast on them
Make it
niggas.
happen.
You ain't got to worry about that shit.
Yeah, make
You
it
know
happen.
what I'm saying? So and then he was like, you know what? I got you. Once he had to figure it out. So it's interesting, man, when you see all this hard work he putting in and it's finally being recognized and rewarded.
Yeah.
But as good as he is, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker still got growing to do. He's still
that's the part
learning to do.
That's
he
where
could be better.
That's where that phrase "scary good" comes in. Like that's what I say about like when I was talking about Tripp's baby girl who raps.
Yeah.
At her age.
Yeah, that's her.
I was telling Tripp, I said, bro, she's like, I was listening. I was in the car sitting next to him, and I just looked at him and gave him that look, like when we used to listen to stuff when we were little, and I was like, bro, she's scary good. Like that's that scary. When you get there, man, it's like. It's exciting. It's frightening, especially for people that eventually, you'll be playing against. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, Tripp. She almost. You know what? She young, but she almost got the something stank face.
Yeah, dude. That's
she
what
almost
I'm
got the something stank face. Dog, it's like, hey, when you like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Man, she almost got to some steak face, man. Yeah. She tight with it.
Because like I was looking at Tripp, right? Then I turned away. Then I looked at him again, like then I just turned away,
like she said that. Now you said she like 16, right?
And
how she? Yeah, she's 16. She'll be 17 in August.
Okay.
And the coolest thing about baby girl was like, and if you don't know what we're talking about Tripp's daughter is an MC who's just dope, and I don't even think she realizes how good she is, but like the fact that she's got like this articulate flow, her timing is good, she enunciates, and then you hear a southern accent. Oh, as far as rapping is concerned, bro, like I'm a rap nerd, and as far as like lyricism and cadence and having a rap voice, that's cool. Like when I was 16. I didn't know who the fuck I was. I didn't know who. I was just rapping like my favorite rapper. She doesn't even sound like anybody.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's what was dope.
That's crazy, bro. So.
And I damn sure don't want it sounded like anybody that's hot now.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
She don't.
So that's the crazy. That's
but she don't even. You know what? She don't even really listen to a lot of them. Like she listens to like. She listens to like a lot of the people we talk about. She listens to like Wale. She listened to like J. Cole.
Holy shit! Okay.
So she listened to like Ross stuff like stuff we talk like the little mumble rap dudes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
man,
that.
That's over that, here though, man. We just
go ahead, bro.
No, what you?
I was just gonna say that the way that when you said that about who she listens to. It's like that's in her head. That's her competition, not somebody else. If you listen to those people, like that's why she raps like that. That makes perfect sense now.
Mm-hmm.
That makes perfect sense. Yep. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, fam.
Yeah. Over here, man, we just still chilling. Like, I finally got my son out the house to get a haircut. He was human again.
Right.
He got a neck full of hair. I had to look back at pictures, like I looked like that in high school too, but like the whole bottom of it like full of hair. But he'll be his birthday tomorrow, so we get he'll be 15. Got his last couple pieces for his gaming computer, so he can put that together. That's a good note. Baby girl got her. I don't know if I'm happy or scared, but she got those. And we just trying to figure out what we're gonna do, man. We gotta workouts in, and so we're gonna start. She plays because she played tennis and he played football, and we gotta go old school.
Man,
and get outside.
They didn't cancel football at his school?
I don't know.
Mm.
They
Man, I thought they
haven't
was canceling that
they
already,
canceled
but
football.
well, they canceled the
I
summer
don't. They
workouts.
haven't decided yet. I don't know. They canceled maybe, but they haven't figured anything out.
Got you.
Figure out. They can't even figure out how they're gonna do schools yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let alone athletics.
As far as like come every day and shit like that.
Right.
I don't know what they're gonna do with football. I don't know if they're gonna cancel it or not. I hope not. Because that's like, this is somebody's senior year. Like my son is
Mm-hmm.
a sophomore, and of course he can recover, and play his junior and senior year. But this is somebody's senior year, and they looking for, they ticket out or something. I don't know. They got to figure something out though.
Yeah.
But like they got to figure out like weight rooms and how to do workouts and stuff like that. Because I don't think we even got to the point where we legally supposed to have more than 10 people in the group, but
right.
with the whole little Supreme Court thing, I think all that got thrown out the window. I don't know where we are. When I'm in public now,
Yeah.
motherfuckers is like, fuck social
Man, for real.
fuck us. And they think the shit is over, and it's like it's not.
It's not. It's
but
not.
Yet and still, like whatever it is, like been sitting. Getting his haircut was like his first time out the house since the shit happened, and we was joking about it. He's been sitting.
Wow. See, he was like, "This is what outside looks like."
Right. He had a steady wardrobe of basketball shorts, flip flops, and t-shirts since March.
Man.
He had that frat boy chic going on.
Right. It probably wasn't just him.
No, it wasn't just, I think anybody who and I'm not like say it bad, but I'm gonna say anybody who was concerned about their kids' well-being, and they had kids who actually listened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids probably been in the house, all that time. I'm not saying like if the kids were out that you weren't, or the circumstances that might have made your kids need to leave the house, work or whatever, or, you can't leave, so they had to leave and do whatever that you can't do.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of kids that, they've been sitting since March. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. It's
crazy. But yeah, it's warm out. At least maybe like some mornings I'm gonna get them out to like to track or something, or even if I just make them go play tennis, where they'll still be able to do tennis.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, don't sleep on tennis. Like that's a workout in itself.
Facts.
Yeah, that's a great workout for a lot of different reasons.
Side to side on that court, just your lateral movement, and your start and stops and all that stuff. I mean, just something to keep them moving, and muscle memory should kick in. But
word up.
Outside of that, man,
that's what's up.
Just chilling, man. About to wrap up.
You're entitled to that too.
Just about to wrap up the school year. Like our last day officially for this school year is the 5th.
Okay.
So we're doing our last couple internet Zoom meetings and
okay,
shit like that.
That's what's up. What about you, Dima?
Damn, what's going on?
Good things this week. I enjoyed some consumerism. So I watched the movie, which haven't done in forever. Not in theaters, but The Gentleman.
Okay.
Man, that shit was off the hook.
Really?
Where did you watch that? Where did you?
I rented it on on demand or whatever, Spectrum. It was with what's his face, Matthew
McConaughey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was similar to like the movies like Snatch and
Snatch is dope.
Man,
Snatch is dope.
They got accents and it's like UK or Ireland.
I gotta check that out.
They got gangs and stuff, and the story goes like it's interesting how the movie was written, because there's this one guy in there who's kind of like a private detective, and he ends up spying on everybody, and so he kind of knows exactly what happened between these different groups or
Holy shit.
individuals, and he's
Mhm.
trying to sell a script based on his findings. And
Wow.
he's like, and so that's kind of like, so there's like different stories going on at the same time, and then they through the movie they kind of clash together, and you see the shit roll out, and then like
That sounds good. I'm gonna have
it
to
was
check that out.
it was really good. I actually wanted to watch it again because I have it for a couple of days, so
The
I'm gonna have to
Gentleman.
do that because you always catch more things the second time around.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely one of
So that
those.
was cool. And then, man, that surprise album by Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist. I saw you post about that. Whoo,
Holy shit.
man,
That was
that you said
good, huh?
instant classic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I seriously, I called it an instant classic. And I
man,
mean that, like, cause we have the prisoner of the moment stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but no, this is not prisoner of the moment, and every feature killed it.
man, that Rick Ross joint.
Yeah, Scotty Beam, ooh,
Yep, the Butcher.
Jesus, man, and
Oh, he
then
got the butcher on there.
Yep,
and Tyler the Creator is
yeah, that
rapping
was
his ass off, dog.
man.
Like that is great. Like people sleep on like his lyrical ability. Like Tyler can spit. Like
Mm-hmm.
people get lost in maybe his image or whatever. Like if you're like this old school type hip hop
Mm-hmm.
dude, man, Tyler has been a beast, and he sounds like with as far as rap, he's like better than ever. That was scary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yo, I might have to check that album out then. I
definitely
still
worth
been
it.
bumping Fly God,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm gonna have to jump on that one.
yeah. What else? What else you got, Dean?
So that was cool, man. Those are some things that a whole album that you like, and watching a movie that you really like. That was kind
Yeah,
of good this week. Other than that, same old shit.
word up, word up,
Well,
man.
aside from everything else.
Right. Well, and what I'll do, and I know what happened. So like, and I'm broadcasting from the man cave, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm closer to my wall, there's like a lot of concrete there, and I think the closer I get to the wall, the worse my internet connection is.
Oh,
You're
okay.
trying to
So
break out.
Yeah, you
yeah,
might have metal studs in the wall.
yeah.
That
So
can hurt.
yeah. So I have to rectify that, and I keep dragging on getting an internet extender, and I just need to go ahead and make that shit happen because I'm not trying to be like Nelly.
They work, fam. Yeah, because
Yeah, they do.
man, you and Trip both, man. Y'all both fucking around like Nelly and Teddy Riley and shit.
Man, am I still breaking up
No,
before we get real
You better
serious?
now
back.
speak.
Okay,
I came back. Nelly never came back right.
That's true.
word.
True.
So yeah, so that's my note to self. I gotta go ahead and knock that internet extender out, and then and make sure I'm not close to the wall. But thank you guys for all tuning in. I'll just quick two good things really quick. My second oldest daughter, I was saying that before, when I was transforming, we threw a graduation for her and her adult nieces. Her adult cousins were actually, they all wrote different things for her, and it was just like, it was really really cool, and it like no disrespect to traditional high school graduations, but I think this one meant a little bit more because she got some direct insight and guidance from people that she loves and trusts. So that was really cool. We were able to have that we did it very responsibly. We kept it under 10, and we just wanted her to have something. And then in addition to that, because I know my youngest daughter, she's about to turn 16, and her birthday. You said Junior's birthday is on the second trip or
No, the
first?
first.
Yeah, his birthday is on the first, and my baby girl, her birthday is on the third. So she went and she had a photo shoot. So like she sent me the link to her photo. So that was really cool. Just seeing like my youngest, I'm like, holy shit, man. Like my youngest is 16. I'm like, I talk about being happy about the empty nest, but I'm like, that's my baby about to go into this world. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So, but those two things were those are my two good things, and I'll do that by I think that's probably as mellow as this podcast is gonna get. So we flip the script right away and go to the drama. I wanted to start off by just saying like I appreciate y'all because I knew I knew I had to. We were talking about earlier. I don't know, maybe before we started recording, that some of us had to step away from certain forms of social media. I was telling people I didn't listen to my favorite content creators this week because this is my most trusted space, like right here. And I know you guys will help me steer clear of just rage. The most profound conversations that I had about this whole shit that's going on with the assassination of George Floyd, the most insightful conversations I had were with my youngest daughter. Just hearing how a soon-to-be 16-year-old views these things, and seeing how like she has to respond, and how just her thoughts on that. To me, I learned more. It was more about me learning about a different perspective than sharing my own. And that was eye-opening, because we love our children, but they're smart as fuck. And they see things at their age that we didn't see at our age. And the one thing I told her, I was like, I told her, I said, you know what? I remember the first time I experienced racism, and I was able to I was able to be I was all right with it. I was like, this is fucked up. But I studied Martin Luther King Jr., so I was like, okay, I already know, I get what's going on and whatever, and we know what they did to him. But I was always just like, if we could solve racism by the time my children get older, I'd be great. Like, I'd be so excited if we could do that. And in my head, the 12-year-old me, I thought that was going to happen. I thought that by the time I'm 12, so by the time I'm actually having kids, shit, racism will be gone. And it's like, fam, it's like somebody hit pause on an awful movie, and then you press play, and it's the same shit, fam.
Dude, it is so much the same shit. I mean, like literally, fam. Like, dog, I made a post that was like, I'm gonna paraphrase my motherfucking self.
Sure.
I ain't even know. I don't know if you can do that, but I'm gonna do it.
Listen, this is melodrama, my nigga. You can do what
that
you
shit,
want, fam.
Dog, it was like a motherfucker got a bridesmaid's dress in one hand and an I Can't Breathe shirt in another hand. And it's a fucking shame that you're gonna wear the I Can't Breathe shirt again before you never wear that fucking bridesmaid's dress again.
Wow.
But now you can literally wear your I Can't Breathe t-shirt again, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You see recycled
in the first place. And now you got another motherfucker getting choked out, hollering, I can't breathe. You can wear that same protest shirt again, dude. Wasn't been a couple years.
Yeah, dude. You know what, man? And I remember the first time my children got a sense of, oh, the world is fucked up, was, and maybe we said this I said some different podcasts, but when we sat and watched the verdict of Mike Brown. We sat and watched the verdict of that, and hearing my children talk to me about, well, Dad, based on all of these things, because children, they're the most logical human beings on earth, children. So they're like, okay, Dad, based on all these different things, they have to be convicted, right? And I was like, what do you say, right? You got to be real with them. You say, well, there's always some nuance, so we can hope for the best, but sadly, nothing is 100%. And now here we are, now, like we're saying, my kids were little. Right. Now they're older, and like you said, it's the same shit.
They so bold with it, man. I've always informed my kids of the blue wall. And I got some cop homies that actually think the blue wall doesn't exist. But it's not. It's almost like that luminol shit, man. In a certain light, you can see it, but in the regular sunlight, you can't. That shit actually does exist. But I actually believed in that shit so much. The way I tell my kids about the blue wall, I was surprised. Quite honestly, I was surprised that they were going to be as overt with the racism when the black cop in Minnesota went to jail and accidentally shot the white woman. I said, man, you know what? This is a trial of the blue wall.
Right.
They're gonna either say one or two things gonna come out of that trial. Either we racist as fuck and we only protect white cops with the blue wall, or they're gonna prove that the blue wall does exist.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta do one.
Yes, you can't do both.
Them motherfuckers chose to just say, fuck it, fam, we racist as fuck. Because dog doing 12 and a half years.
I was just about to say, because I don't even remember what happened about
Yeah,
that.
he was remember he was sitting in the squad car and said the chick came up, just kind of walked up to the car and startled him. They were responding to a domestic violence call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he had the gun in his hand already, but whatever reason, then she popped up at the passenger side door. He was like, oh shit, shot her. Killed her.
He's locked up right now.
12 and a half years.
Wow.
And the motherfucker that murdered Philando Castile, he got fired. And dog, what's funny, that he wasn't even white. He was Hispanic. I'm like, damn, I thought y'all hated Hispanics more. They don't even speak American and shit.
Yeah, man. It's wild, dude.
It's wild, fam.
Yeah,
shit happened, and you see I'm rambling, dog. That shit pissed me off, man. I'm gonna fuck his mama, man.
I honestly had to write some talking points because in the event that I get too emotional, I'm like, okay, where the fuck was I going?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And one of the things that I wanted to immediately set the tone for is that I am not here to criticize the actions of people or inaction of people about how, because what happens during these times, right? There's always an underlying group of people that have negative things to say about other people if they're not responding to this catastrophe in the same manner. And then people start, oh, well, y'all doing this, or you ain't on the front lines and whatever. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. For me, I just wanted to just like, at the end of the day, if nothing from this podcast sticks that I say, the only thing I want to get across is we have to begin to address the elephant in the room, which is oppression is one of the cornerstones of America, period. It is. Oppression is one of the founding fathers of America. This is like, like we were playing, I wanted to play that piece that I wrote because like I was sitting thinking about it, and that was the first time that I was able to put some shit down, and like literally by the time I uploaded that song, got the information about George Floyd.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we just lost Ahmaud. So like at the end, I just kept racking my brain, and my personal issue is usually I run 100 miles an hour. Yo, let's rally, let's do this, yo. But then it's like I'm running in 1,000 different directions. That is definitely the old me.
Yep.
I would run in 1,000 different directions, trying to do my best to help fix this bullshit that's going on. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's old age. As I'm getting older, I'm like, I gotta be way smarter about what I do, and I can't be so upset about what others do, because we're not like this linear thinking society. We all have our own free thoughts, but like that's just that's my main point. If nothing registers, it's the fact that like we need to address that oppression is one of the cornerstones of America, fam. It just is. And I don't know some of now. Granted, I know there's some things that have been happening, but like I try to shield myself. I don't watch a lot of news, but I do understand that there's been rioting, there's been looting. I do understand that there has been some of these riots were actually initiated by cops. And I wasn't so sure if that was true at first until I I had to do a little digging myself. But oh shit, that was real. Because we always talk about misinformation and we joke about you don't have to tell the truth. It's the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
like I had to look into that and find out that that's real. And I'm just like, dude, um, I mean, shit, there's a reason why Milwaukee has Sherman Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why. I was listening to this song. I was just scrolling through, and it's this song by reggae artist Spraga Benz. Like, do y'all remember him? Like,
Damn, I ain't heard that shit in a
like,
while.
dude, I'm scrolling through social media, and maybe it's because of the effect of the whole Beanie Man bounty killer shit that
Mm-hmm.
just happened, and like he pops up, and he has this song called "Hustle and Pray," and I think this song was dropped last year, but his lyrics, he's talking about like he's saying like ghetto youth all across the world, we gotta unite because they're fucking us all up. No matter where you're from, you can be from you know from the Caribbean, you can be in America. It doesn't matter. But that unity, that's what it is. That's what it's gonna take, man. It's like those words were like just hearing him spit and like I'm like, man, fam, that's exactly where we are right now. That's where we are. And then we got a president that literally tweets when they get the looting, we get the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. You can't tell me that this shit is real. That this is what the
Motherfucker don't make
president
nothing better, do it.
this is what the president of the United States said.
Hey man.
But then the same
Barack Obama didn't do nothing for black people. So
yeah,
never
man.
forget that.
I don't know, man. It you know, and I don't know. I can't really. Who am I to tell people? You know, there's something to be said because I see the world is going. You know, usually when Killer Mike says something, the world stops and listens, right? And he was saying a lot of. I saw like maybe a 60-second soundbite of saying, you know, don't burn down your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot to be said for that. I saw somebody post this. I guess there was a little bit of that shit going on here in Milwaukee too.
More than a little bit, fam.
So what's happened?
They fucked up the pasty shop, fam.
What?
Yeah, they fucked up the pasty shop. Cell
Just
phone stores, a lot of auto parts stores. I don't necessarily know what the fuck auto parts got to do with the revolution, but okay.
Videos
Yeah.
of people looting Walgreens for diapers, everything off the shelf.
So my problem with all of that is that I don't give a fuck. Like, burn the shit down. But like Killer Mike said, don't burn down our own shit. And people are confusing our own shit with shit that's in the neighborhood. Like, they hit up the Walgreens on King Drive, and we don't own that. Never. That's Walgreens. But don't break into playmakers just because you want to get a fit. You know, in the name of whatever you know cause is going on. Like, you know, they hit up playmakers. They hit up a couple other like black stores that sell clothes or whatever.
Okay.
And that I don't agree with. But as far as like the rioting and looting, like I'm not gonna tell you to go out and riot. I'm not gonna tell you not to. Because I mean, the reality is when you look through history, rioting has brought some results for some movements.
Yeah, and let me. Why do people act like? I just got a question for you, Trip. Why do people act like they're not people that are out there that are just opportunists, and there are people that are out there like peacefully protesting? Why does it all like why are people assuming that it's only one type of person out there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because
that's dangerous territory, fam. You getting
talk to me. Talk to me.
into the bad apples argument, bro.
No.
That's the bad apples.
No,
now.
I'm just asking. I'm asking for us to just to let's just dissect this because if I let's just say I don't have the knowledge that you know us 40-plus-year-old men have, right? I know Dima's only like 22, but like so if I'm 12, 13, it's like the same people that are peacefully protesting are being lumped into people that are breaking into playmakers looking for
Yep.
some Jews. But it's like the reality is, I'm not even saying it's a bad apple, but why are we acting like there are not some people that truly say this is a great opportunity for me to go and do X? Everybody, like, like, I don't know, like, I don't know why I'm like, if we gonna have real talk about all of this shit, let's have real talk about all of this shit.
It's a tool. It's a talking point for those who are trying to discredit the movement.
Okay.
And that's all it is, right? It's similar to, okay, the bad apples thing with the cops. I mean, a lot of motherfuckers don't fuck with any cops at all because of those few bad apples. It's the same concept. But no, you're absolutely right, bro. It's definitely motherfuckers that see the opportunity. I mean, dog, they bust the window. The motherfucker just walk by the store, bust all the windows out, and keep it moving. Yeah, somebody gonna take the opportunity to see what they can get up out the store.
And then
that shouldn't discredit the movement, but that's the image they're gonna show. They never show. They don't really show the signs too much on TV anymore. They show the dude running down the street with the TV.
Yeah.
You saw that shit in fucking Katrina.
Yeah.
Every motherfucking movement, dog, it's a motherfucker running down the street with a TV. You know what I'm saying? That when you want to discredit the movement.
And every movement's going to have your anarchists. Every movement's going to have out-of-state people taking opportunity. Like we were saying, most people arrested were out of state. There for not protesting reasons.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
We can't let it work, though. That's the thing.
Well, you know what?
Yes.
And that those numbers are skewed too. Like they said, like 80% of the people in Minnesota was from out of state. Like
maybe
80%. G.
80% arrested, maybe.
Huh?
Was it 80% arrested?
80% of the arrested people were from out of state.
Okay.
I didn't see the arrested word. I just saw 80% of the people.
Oh wow. That's definitely false.
80% of the people rioting was from out of state. And being in the time that we're in the pandemic that we're in, that some people still aren't even leaving the house, and that they're in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
I believe that 80% drove from surrounding states to Minnesota just for the sake that, hey, we're going to start a riot and steal some shit. Like,
right. And granted, some people did, drive there, but I think, at the same time, it's like
yeah, but those are
creating this false perception.
Yeah, I agree.
That are activists.
Yes, yep, exactly.
Right there and stuff like that. But just like random Joe Schmo, hey, let's go do a smash and grab ass niggas, like
right.
But you got to go out of state for that.
Right. Exactly. We got this is a nationwide riot at this point.
It's in a bunch of cities now, fam.
Yeah, I saw some stuff. So in Minnesota, of course, I'm learning that there's more of that going on here in Milwaukee. Definitely in Atlanta. I've heard
Texas, New York, California.
California, Phoenix. I think Chicago had.
Yep, Chicago has some stuff.
Wow. Yeah, man, and I posted a post, and I actually had this quote saved to one of my I collect a lot of African proverbs like on Pinterest, and it says the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. And it's like that just goes, it just speaks to the being an African American is I'm proud to be black. I love where I come from. I love what my grandma and my granddad taught me. I love all of that. But then I also understand and I learn, that many parts of our culture, we just don't have, and it's like, I was listening to one of our old podcasts. It's like, we're kind of like stuck in the middle when it comes to this shit in America, man. It's like we um we're forced to assimilate, and we can't unify and create a culture of our own. But that's all false, because the younger me was like, oh well, we just need to do this. But it's like, no, this is because this is the way things are designed for it to look like this. Once I began to understand that, I'm like, yo, I mean, so it's an accomplishment to do certain things, to overcome a lot of shit that we have to do, a lot of shit that we have to overcome, dude. I remember, and I can't remember if I said it here before, I remember taking a cultural class in my pursuing my master's degree, and the name of the course was Cultural Perspectives in Counseling, and it talked about microaggressions, and it talked about all of these different things. But the professor, how can you teach a cultural competency type of class when you are not culturally competent? And just seeing how her presentation depicted African Americans, because we went through every culture, and I'm just like, when it got to African American culture, you know what she had? It was a little boy. He appeared that he was part of the Nation of Islam. He had the black suit, white shirt, red tie, and just a scowl on his face. And I raised my hand. I was like, yo, so like, I was like, this is a false representation of African American culture. And I'm like, also, when we learned about the other cultures, we didn't see somebody who had a scowl on their face. Why is it that out of all of the cultures that we're learning, when it comes to African Americans, the only photo that you found acceptable for your PowerPoint presentation was a young black boy who looks extremely angry? And remember, I'm in grad school in the South. I'm in grad school in Georgia. And just like, she wasn't used to that pushback. This is the same professor that called me an exception to the rule as far as black people is concerned.
You a good nigga.
She said, oh, well, there's an exception. She's like, you're kind of like the black nerd. I was like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Well, you're not like, I said, actually, most of my friends are like me. But this is the professor teaching a whole bunch of other clueless people who don't know about African American culture. And she's getting fucking paid for it, bro. And now you fast forward and you see how they see us. You know, like a lot of times, like I say, I don't watch those type of documentaries, but like, and a lot of people are like, oh man, I'm tired of seeing this. We have to continue to show what the fuck we're going through, because, you know, what's the other famous thing that's being thrown all over the internet is that shit's not changed, it's just being filmed now. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's just being recorded now. And my thing is, I had to gain perspective. I had to take a step back. I channeled a lot of my anger into like working out. I had to do something constructive because my thoughts were not initially constructive. So I had to get like my anger and get my rage under control to begin to address this issue. And I'm like, I just want to double down on some of the things that I'm already doing. Some of the different things that I'm doing in the community, some of the things that I'm doing professionally. I just want to double down on those things. I'm going to try to do a few additional things, but like, I know that I am not going to be the person to be solely responsible for, you know, eradicating racism. So my only thing is like, do what I can, because I got young black babies. So do what I can do.
I stopped, fam.
Say more. What you mean?
I stopped altogether. I turned all that shit off. Fuck y'all. I'm not arguing with the same motherfuckers I argued with the last time this shit happened. I'm not arguing with the same motherfuckers I argue with about why you ain't supposed to burn down your own shit and why you are supposed to burn down your own shit. I'm not arguing with the same motherfucking badge backers talking that just comply bullshit. I walked away from all of that shit, fam, because you motherfuckers don't want to fix the fucking problem. Y'all want to bitch about it and just continue to pray that it never happened to you personally. That never touches you personally. That George Floyd ain't your brother, father, cousin, or uncle. You know what I'm saying? You motherfuckers don't want to change nothing, dog. They just want to bitch about it. Because there ain't no message. There ain't no purpose. There ain't no reason, man, in this destruction, right? What changed since the last riot? What's the last riot? What would they say? The Ferguson, Baltimore with Freddie Gray. What came out of that riot, man? What changed?
Yeah.
Because we got another riot now.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers didn't do shit. So when cats hear me speak out against the destruction, man, you pissed off, fam, do what you feel. Right. What the fuck you gonna do when the smoke clears?
Yes.
What the fuck you gonna do then?
Right.
And dog, miss me with this. Okay, man, march again. Cool. Fuck you gonna do at the end of the march, fam? Because we right here again. You're gonna need to march again. You're gonna need to riot again. Because that's all the fuck you do.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers ain't, man, fam.
Yeah.
And you got a motherfucker that's hollering out, I can't breathe, for selling Lucy's.
Yep.
Now you got a motherfucker hollering out, I can't breathe, and I want my mama for passing a fake $20 bill. What's the next motherfucker gonna do? Stole a bike, bumped into somebody on the side. Don't fucking matter, man. It's gonna fucking happen again.
You know what it sound like? Young Southern black boy whistling at a white woman.
Yeah. Same shit, fam.
You know what I'm saying?
It's that's like, all it takes.
Same shit.
But hold on. Here's the thing. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same shit over and over again.
Expecting different results.
Expecting different shit, yeah.
Motherfuckers rioted and marched and protested then. And we still rioting, marching, and protesting now. We doing the same shit.
So let me ask all of you guys this question, and you can, whomever you can answer. I would like to hear all of your perspectives. Do you believe that the solution is more simple than we like to believe? You know, because when we think about this systemic oppression, and we think about, you know, how we always say it's the people in those positions, JG, how you eloquently said, and we often refer to as the people in these positions, you know, so do we believe that the solution or a major part of the solution is actually quite simple?
Honestly, I believe it's a hell of a lot more simple than what we making it out to be, man, because the reason why I'm coming off of social media for a little while till this shit blow over a little bit till I can cool out is because it's people that I love and people that I respect that are spouting this bullshit, man, it's pissing me off. You know what I'm saying? Fam, ain't no kumbaya ass shit, man. Ain't no fucking utopia shit coming out of this, fam.
Yeah.
That's not what this is. You dig what I'm saying? The solution is simple in that justice is simple. Case by case basis, you handle the shit the way it's supposed to be handled, you don't have them fucking problems. Dude, what I don't want to be so fucking tired of white rules that I want black rules.
Okay.
That ain't the answer. You know what I'm saying? But that's what motherfuckers are calling for. I'm going to show you a picture, man. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Oh, can I do that, Dean?
He's got to give you permissions,
okay.
Right?
Okay, hold on.
I just want to share my screen real quick because it's a point I wanted to make.
All right, your host.
All right.
43% more angry. I saw that shit.
You see that shit? Man, dude, this shit
and I was
pisses
like,
me off, man.
And I'm like, for brother JG, that 43% more is a lot for
That's a lot,
JG.
bro.
Yeah.
That's a lot for JG.
Man.
He's his
So,
cup is definitely almost full.
Yeah,
so let me
man.
see. So y'all can see this, right?
Yes.
Got the white water fountain, the water
Mhm.
bubbler. Sorry, I'm from
Yes.
Milwaukee. That's a fucking bubbler.
It's a bubbler, bro.
And you got the colored bubbler,
Mhm.
right? Now we looking at this. We all looking at the same picture. I guarantee you we see it 4 different ways. So what I see here is obvious inequality. From what I know, mechanically speaking, that's probably an insulated cabinet on the white one. That water's probably colder.
Mhm.
Ain't no telling where the hell the water is coming from on the colored one. It's in the fucking corner, tight as hell. You'll probably get lynched if you even touch the white one. So I'm assuming that most black people probably wouldn't even drink from this one.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But looking at this picture, clearly it's a fucking problem. It's from a terrible era in this country's history, correct?
Yes,
So
absolutely. No
what's the
question.
solution to that picture? Is the solution to that picture 10 feet away, another water bubbler that says colored that's identical to the white one? Is that the solution? Or is the solution one fucking water bubbler with no signs?
Right. Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It's
problem, man, the reason why we repeating this bullshit over and over again is because we ain't never even answered that fucking question, fam.
yeah.
We ain't never answered that question. 12% of the country is African American. I bet you dollars to donuts, man, we probably got 40% of the fucking agenda. Like, dog, everybody wants the
Mhm.
black agenda to be theirs. But
Yeah.
we ain't the same.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So how the hell can we correct that image
Yeah.
if we don't even know what the damn correct image is, fam?
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And the thing is, the whole thing is, it's like we are as Americans, or the powers that be in America, we continue to be it's like a walking contradiction.
Bro.
Like liberty and justice for all, United States of America, all these inalienable rights, like all these different things where it's like, walking the talk. But Trip, so that question I'm posing to you, do you believe a major part of the solution is more simple than it is being portrayed?
Do I believe that a major part of this solution is more simple
Mm-hmm.
than is being portrayed? Yes and no. You ever heard the phrase that it's not the aim that's the problem, it's the target?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the problem is the aim. I'm not even gonna say that the problem is necessarily always the methods.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said before, like there are some movements, women's rights came through. There was some rioting in getting women's rights.
Mm-hmm.
There was some rioting in getting gay people rights.
Mm-hmm.
There was some rioting, with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Like I'm not gonna say like it's completely ineffective. However, I will say that I think our target is off. I think, as JG said, you got multiple people with multiple agendas, and you got everybody shooting at different targets,
Mm-hmm.
and we're
Yeah.
not being effective because everybody's shooting at something different. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, okay, we're gonna riot, or we're gonna protest, or we're going to boycott something. Then, as Killer Mike said, um, let's not tear up our own shit. And I'm not saying, okay, go out to the suburbs and get shot, but what sense does it make to tear up a black owned clothing store and then go out to Mayfair or Bayshore the next day
Mm.
and buy the new J's?
Holy shit.
After you sell the shit you looted, man.
Holy shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
That's a very good
who are
point,
you
bro.
hurting? You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they don't give you like, okay, they're gonna put in the cops or whatever, and the cops aren't gonna stop you from rioting or looting. They're gonna control it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or whatever. But you fucking up our black owned business, and your justification is that we don't own the building, and they got insurance, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's still somebody you're fucking up somebody else's dream,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
or whatever. And it doesn't affect the people that are in power.
You know what? And to add to that, I was like, I'm in a few different group chats, and like I was in one with Dima and Phil, and like I went through all those motions. Like emotionally, I was like, fuck it. Uh, they got insurance, and I was talking all this shit, like because like when you're angry, and I don't know, I can only speak for me. When I'm angry, my logic goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm angry, that's why I know that me responding to anything angrily, like outward, like public facing, would have been so horrible for me because like I know I don't think clearly when I'm angry.
Shit, you
Um,
mastered
you
that shit.
know, so like that's you just bring up a great point, Trip, when you say that about, I broke into this store that's 8 blocks away, and where I can go and get X, Y, and Z when I need it, or if I just want it.
Well, and
But
I'm not gonna
now I'm
say
out in the
like,
suburbs, putting
and I'm
money in
not even
somebody
gonna
else's
say like,
pocket.
okay, um, because it's in your neighborhood. Because I mean, let's be honest, like, just like you got some people that are opportunistic when they're rioting, there are some opportunistic business owners, and they
Hmm.
are putting stores in our neighborhood because they want our money,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and we know those stores.
Yep.
But
Yeah. Those some of them stores ain't for the community. I feel you.
you let, let's just say, for instance, the Midtown area, you didn't touch Foreman Mills, you didn't touch City Trend, you didn't touch, you know, whatever other big name stores in that area, but then you hit Playmakers.
Mm.
Playmakers been in our community since the days of Capitol Court.
Yeah.
Playmakers was the only black store giving us um, black student athletes discounts on shoes back in the day to help the motherfuckers be able to play sports in, you know, some quality shoes. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, you break them off and then you go sell it in the whole Milwaukee.
Oh my god.
That's what they
You
doing.
know,
Are you
and then
kidding
you take,
me? Wow.
That's what they doing, man. And again,
you know,
okay, then look at that part. Like what Trip just mentioned. What that got to do with
like
fixing the
you
issue?
right, and
Yeah.
it's not even in dude's name. Like, you know, you like it's like JG said earlier. Like, I don't want to speak on it a lot because I don't want to take away from the stuff that's happening in dude's name.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, you know, there were some great protests, and I posted the pictures. I just took them down this morning. I had them up all weekend. Dave Miller took some pictures, and there was like some great pictures. And it was like, you know, people protesting and
Yeah.
marching and stuff like that. But I took a lot of those posts down just because I just want to be neutral at this point.
Hmm.
Because I don't really have time to defend my opinion or go into these detailed discussions with somebody who's really not listening
Mm-hmm.
for any
Yes.
answer outside of what they've decided is the answer.
Yeah, I'm listening for my
Um,
answer to hear come from you.
Yep.
right. So, you know, I'm at that point, I'm just not gonna
Yeah.
say much. But I think one thing is, and I don't want to sound hopeless,
Okay.
but everybody keeps saying that we need to end racism, and you can't end somebody's train of thought or
You
school of
cannot.
thought. You can't end it. Racism is institutionalized, and it's been institutionalized in the fabric of this country and the people who run this country since the establishment of this country.
Yes.
To the point
Yes.
that the Constitution that we are under, um, at one point only counted the people that are being victimized as 3/5 of a man.
Right. Right. And the reality is, if these folks are still behaving this way, it's a lot of folks that still believe that. It's a lot of folks that
Well,
still believe that. That's why,
Are you in love?
you know,
Can you end love? Speak.
uh, I can.
Can you end love? You know what I'm
you
saying? Just
can't.
like, hey
You
man,
can't.
we need to
You
get rid
can.
of
You know.
love.
You can't in love,
Got to get
and
rid.
that's what he's
I'm
saying.
done. We got
Like
to. You know what I'm saying?
you can stop loving somebody, speak,
Right.
but then you're gonna love somebody else.
But the whole
Somebody else.
concept of love, it can't be ended.
You
And
can't be ended.
No.
that's a great point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
But
like,
now you can. There are people that don't believe in love at all.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
But if you're a person who believes in love,
yeah,
the act of becoming a person who doesn't believe in love, that's a
that's
whole
a
lot of shit.
process.
A whole lot of
That's
shit
yeah,
involved. You dig what
yeah,
I'm saying? So
yeah. You're right.
can
You're
you
right.
end racism like without changing the mind of that person?
And
How the
that's
hell do
why,
you do that?
and that's why I found myself lately saying systemic oppression more than racism,
That's
because
what
because
people confuse those two so much.
yeah,
Fam.
because the thing is, like, okay, we could eradicate systemic oppression and the
Yep,
races can still be here.
they can still be here.
But the thing is, they no longer have power and
Yep,
authority
yep,
to oppress me.
exactly.
Because just like, um, how I'm predisposed to, if you're not a cop that I know, I don't trust you
Mm-hmm.
until I can feel comfortable and safe due to the shit that's happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's like, it is what it is, man. It's like, it's one of those things where you gotta, I don't want to say wise up, but we just have to begin to see a bigger picture. Um, because I'm not concerned about somebody who's racist that has no power. I'm concerned about, because what happens is the people that are racist that are in power are now empowering
Mm-hmm.
others
Exactly.
to commit these acts of terrorism. In my personal opinion, these are terrorist acts.
Yep.
These are terrorist acts, and so what's happening, these people in these positions of power, they continue to do this shit. So now if I'm drinking your Kool-Aid, shit, I walk out here feeling like I'm invincible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about, like, it's anecdotal, right? But remember when Black Panther hit the theaters, right? And remember how a lot of different people dressed to the theme of the movie, especially for Marvel movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Black Panther transcended the Marvel fan.
Yep.
It had people of color um, showing up, dashikis and all of that, right? So that was that influence, right? We
Mm-hmm.
felt empowered. Say if this can be created cinematically, think about what's being designed as far as like the fabric of the Constitution and how that shit is. So these people, that these white supremacists or whatever you want to call it, racist motherfuckers, they've been empowered since day one.
Yep.
I mean, and we can't sit here and act like they didn't obliterate indigenous people. Like literally, like the last time I checked, and I can't remember, I don't know if it's true now, but indigenous people are now less than 1% of the population
Mm-hmm.
of a land that was theirs.
All theirs. Well, theirs and Mexicans, but fuck them too, because they Mexicans.
Exactly. So
You
it's
know what I'm
anybody who's not like, and when I look at when I look at the United States, it's kind of like, it's like, okay, Big Trip's my big brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anytime we spar and we're boxing, I'm tired of Trip kicking my ass. So now I'm gonna go, to go somewhere else where I know the skills are less,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna bully and I'm gonna beat them up, without their consent. At least I'm willingly sparring with Trip. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna go now. I'm gonna start sparring and knocking everybody else out over here, and now I'm king. It's like these oppressors were also oppressed. That's why they fucking left, bro.
Facts.
That's why they left. So it's
Yep.
like, this is the shit that we need to be teaching. I think we need to be teaching people of color about history, and it needs to happen. I'm not gonna sit here and tell people what should be woven in academics, but like, there was one point in time where we were taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Hey, fam.
If we can move away from that,
Yep.
why don't we start correcting some of the ways that
But
this
wait.
great country was founded? Why don't we stop teaching some of this shit? Because we're still teaching propaganda.
Teaching patriotism.
But has the school history books actually started not teaching that, or is it just we know now? Because I haven't been in a high school history class in a minute.
Well, in talking to
No, it's still high school is still the same shit, fam.
Yeah,
So
remember
they're still teaching Christopher Columbus discovered America.
And they added a couple details, but primarily it's still the same shit. They ain't.
And then it's like, what did they call slaves? What was the AKA? It was the indentured servants or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like
different types of slavery.
No. Slaves were not indentured servants. Indentured servants were the first people who came over on the boat that had to work a debt off.
Gotcha.
Yep. Slaves are what replaced indentured servants, because now the free labor was gone. I gotta do this shit myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's just
we're gonna force somebody else to do it.
Right. It's like this is that needs to change. What we're teaching young people, that needs to change. I mean, what we're teaching academically, we have to start somewhere, man. And I think so if I was to answer that question, I know that it's not a one size fits all thing. But like one of the things I was thinking of, like you were saying, what Tripp was talking about, about the aim being off. Not necessarily, or Tripp, did you say it's the target?
Yeah,
it's multiple
the aim
targets.
Is good. It's just the wrong target.
Yeah, it's multiple targets. So what I was thinking, man, I was sitting back like, okay, so what if somebody who supported the Black Lives Matter movement, somebody who supported the feminist movement, LGBTQ movement, Nation of Islam, Fruit of Islam, Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples, you know what I'm saying? Like Bloods, Crips, Prince Hall Masons. What if we all found one thing that we all agree that we want changed? Like, so now you have all these different, as Tripp says, all these different targets, right? And we're all coming from these different angles, but you know how they do the wheel where you can see the overlap? What if there was just one starting point? Not the only, not the first and the last, but just one. But all of these entities that hold great power and great influence, we can find one thing that we all say, yo, I fuck with that. Imagine what would happen
But that's not the problem. That's not the problem, because we know what the one thing is. We need justice and equality. That's what we need. The problem is when you bring all those people to the table, people got to be willing to leave their personal agenda behind to fight for one agenda.
Yes.
I want justice and equality, but I can't come to the table trying to make everybody be a Muslim.
Yes.
I can't come to the table, and I'm not saying all Masons are like this, but some Masons come to the table and they feel like because they're a Mason, their third eye is open wider than anybody else in the world because I'm a Mason. I can't come to the table as a trans person or whatever and want everybody to be trans. Like, if we come to the table and I can't come to the table as a straight person and have it with transgender people.
Yep.
If we're gonna go for justice and equality, and we're all coming to the table as people who believe that everybody should be have justice and equality, I can't come to the table as a black man that hates all white people. Because let's be honest, like none of the movements ever happened like solely with just one color of people.
That's right.
Like it's people. Yep. So we got to come to the table and agree that everybody should have justice and equality, and not just some, but the same justice and the same equality.
Yep. And just like you said, there's multiple ways to get here. Your GPS may lead you a different way, but if we can all arrive there, if our GPS leads us all to justice and equality, like, and it's a surefire way, why the fuck don't we travel there? Why? So like that's why what's another melodrama quote? The problem is the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, this is not soapboxing though. This is
Nope.
not because it is we need to sometimes point out the simplicities because the pain is so overbearing.
Facts.
But you can't get people to put down their personal agenda.
That's
you can't get the preacher to jump in line because the preacher got a problem with gay people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think and I think so to me,
you can't get Muslims just to sit at the table because the Muslim think that that Jesus Christ wasn't the son of God, but he was just a prophet, and they want to argue about who Jesus was and who Allah was. Or like, if we fighting for justice and equality, like put all that shit to the side.
Yeah, and somebody brought a pepperoni pizza then.
you know
what, cats? You know what nobody pays attention to, man. I don't give a fuck what demographic you're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, we all got in common. I just call it the commonalities of man.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? There's like, let's just take throwing something out there. Let's take say a bank loan.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one reason a motherfucker should be denied a bank loan.
Right.
They ain't got the credit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Why is other reasons?
Yeah.
There's only that one reason that should matter.
Yeah.
You gotta get the bullshit out of the way, fam. That's what these motherfuckers don't do. Get the bullshit out of the way and let me make my way.
And that's why I think the first time, man, and I was talking earlier about the things I had to do to get my personal shit together, is because I think I am 100% guilty of some of these past, atrocities. I think I'm 100% guilty of projecting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm 100% guilty of, like, you have to think how I think. I was listening for my answer too much.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to my fucking answer and judging those who wasn't giving me my answer.
Right.
But now I'm just kind of like, yo, what are our commonalities again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, word. Okay, I'm with you. Let's go.
I'm on that, and I still listen for bullshit. Because the bullshit, when they put bullshit in the rules, they set a precedence, fam. Setting precedence is one of the reasons why we in this situation.
Yeah.
If I can find, like that bank loan example, if I put any other reason in with that bad credit thing, bad credit, man. I remember when we lived in Dallas, fam. There was shit going on where one of the guys I work with told me he got the job because he didn't tell the motherfuckers that he lived in South Dallas. And back in 99 and 2000, South Dallas was a bad area, to the point where if motherfuckers saw that you lived in South Dallas, they wouldn't hire you.
Wow.
You dig what I'm saying? That's the kind of shit that goes on, man. But that's the bullshit that you need to get out of the damn equation, man. It's shit that we are. Dog, what the fuck you being trans got to do with you owning a home?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can't buy a car because you gay. Like, what the fuck is that, fam?
Yeah,
so
man.
We add all that extra bullshit into the equation, and we get away from the fact that, dog, we all bleed the same. We all the same on the inside. All that. You know what I'm saying? We get away from all of that shit, and that's the only thing that should fucking matter.
And I think so. If I was to have, I was thinking, right, and I was very hesitant to even, like, when I recorded that song that I call a piece, because I remember writing about doing something about Trayvon Martin, and then I remember doing something else, and it just made me think, like, if I was to offer anything, my personal call to action would be do some self-examination to make sure that when you do come and begin ready to push for change, then you've checked your personal biases to the door.
Facts. Hey,
that is my only call to action for people.
That's 100%. But now, Speak, we got to remember something too. What you just said, that needs to be our focus when this shit right here is over with. Because let's not forget, though, y'all killed another motherfucking black man
right
in the middle of the fucking broad daylight, in the middle of the fucking street for some bullshit, man.
Broad daylight.
Did this shit again.
Yep.
You motherfuckers decided dog could go to the crib after he did that shit, fam.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing. No, he was resisting. You didn't see the additional video that came out and showed him whooping dude ass in the back of the squad car, man.
Squad car. Yeah,
you know. You cannot allow this type of shit to continue, man. That shit. So we got to do something about this.
So
we can fix the big problem, but these individual instances of injustice,
yes, sir,
that shit need to be handled immediately, fam. And it can't happen again.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You got me sitting in my car when I'm pulled over, motherfucker, in my own self-defense mode now.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Because what's gonna happen, man? No, I ain't getting out my fucking car, man. I don't have to. And if you raise your voice, we gonna have a fucking problem, man.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
no,
man.
That's fucking murder, man. I'm not even gonna call it an assassination like you did, Speak. That's fucking murder, man. That's plain old regular ass murder.
So,
that shit don't make no fucking sense, man. And it's again.
Yeah, again.
Again, dog.
And the sad part is it's gonna happen again.
So okay.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Let's dive deeper because I think we're still kind of on the surface here. You know, with this insanity type stuff where it happens over and over again. I'm not saying this is the same because it's not. This is a very different situation. But we've talked about the whole election stuff, right? And we're not really voting for the president. It happens again. Nobody does it. Everybody's upset, but nobody does anything after the fact.
Right.
So, Speak, you had mentioned that this right here is a cornerstone of America, which is a sad statement, but very true. So, what are the changes? So, I just been jotting a couple notes down. So, like, why does racism exist? Because I feel like, and I think you're right, it's the people. It's not necessarily the system. And until the system says that racism is bad, the people aren't going to think that who are racist aren't going to change.
Facts.
And so if the system is telling you that racism is bad, then the people who are racist will be shunned.
Yeah.
And they need to understand. So let's take it even further then. So is that the change that needs to happen to get rid of this cornerstone, the system, like, and so let's take it even further then. Why does the cornerstone stay? And I kind of maybe relate to other forms of racism or other forms of oppression that have happened in the past. For example, taking land away from Indians. All right. What happened through that process and how is it different than the racism that exists with, slavery and things like that and things that have been ingrained into this world? Well, I think, has there ever been a acknowledgement? Has it by the world? Has there
what happened to the indigenous people?
No, to black people, African Americans.
Well, no. I think
has there ever been empathy? Has there ever been apology? Nope. And have there ever been reparations?
Yeah.
And think about the Indian people. There has been acknowledgement. There has been empathy. There has been apology, and there has been reparation. Now there's no racism towards Indians because it's wrong. And it was proven, and it was gone through a system of these steps that were taken.
Yeah, man.
So why can't we do the same thing with a different race to keep diminishing racism that still exists?
Because you have to want to do that, dude.
And you're right. So to answer that question,
so would that work though?
It would absolutely work.
It helped with the Jews too.
Some people are starting because in 2018, racism has been declared a public health crisis in this area, in the area where we from.
That one concerns me. Speak a little bit
because the thing is, it is a public health crisis because the thing is, so this is why I like that angle, because we can't just say racism is wrong. It's like
Mhm.
we have to attach it to something that's aligned with a system that's already in place. And
Yeah,
what's
but
in place is
I don't want it attack. I don't want it aligned as a public health crisis because
Right.
that's the same shit they're trying to do with pedophilia. So what's going
Mhm.
to end up happening is it's going to be something that you can't prosecute because it's going to be a sickness
Yep.
So
instead of a crime.
outside of
Yeah,
history,
man.
outside of history books and how it actually went down, has there been a acknowledgement of fucking racism and it being bad?
no.
No,
Dima, you
but
got to
Dima,
remember Trump's first campaign. His supporters, dude, they actually say shit like racism doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Dima, you know
You
why
made
that
that shit
hasn't
up.
happened?
They
Dima,
want us to just
it's
get
us
over it.
making excuses.
They want
But
us to
see,
get
Dima,
over it.
Yeah, get
that,
over
that
that shit.
that hasn't happened, and it's probably not going to happen because okay, admitting that you stole from the land from the Indians, it changes the storyline a little bit. Admitting that Jews were done wrong by Hitler changes the storyline over there in Germany. But to actually admit that slavery was wrong and everything that happened during the time of slavery was wrong and should not happen, and to give African Americans or black people their just due is going to rip the fabric of
So
this
Yes.
to get rid
nation
of this
Yes.
cornerstone,
core.
to get rid of
Yes.
this cornerstone, we the people have to
Yep.
in unison say that
Yep.
this
Yes.
shit
Oh,
exists. I don't give a
and
shit what Trump
Yes.
says. I don't give a
yep.
shit what his followers like. This
Yep.
shit
I
exists, and
I
this is
agree.
a problem. And to
One thing
be
though,
in unison.
one
Yeah.
thing though, Trip. The only thing I got to disagree on is in school, I learned more about the Holocaust than I did about the slave trade, and then I
Yep.
did about racism in America. So
And
that
man,
was not just a
we were
German
at
thing.
we were at Custer. They
That
had
was
somebody come speak to
That was
us.
worldwide. For a
Yeah.
matter of fact, what we endured, what our ancestors went through, was worse.
Yeah.
Right, and
But they don't
that's what
even
I'm
call
saying.
it a Holocaust. It was, hey man,
Right,
it was
right.
just a couple
But
slaves,
that's
and
what
that was it.
that's what
All
I'm
we
Yeah,
did
saying.
was
that's what
kick.
we need to start raising.
And they
Then we
still
got
That's
tripping.
free.
what
Yeah, they still tripping.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
we just tripping.
But that's what I'm saying. It's okay for them to admit
Mhm.
how bad it was and what happened because it doesn't destroy
Oh, there's
the
because they
history
didn't
of
do it.
Yeah.
America.
Because
Yeah.
they didn't do it.
I get exactly
Right.
what you're
I
saying,
got you.
Trip. Because
I
what
get you
Trip
on that.
what
Okay.
Trip is saying
Right.
is it's kind of like if you get your bathroom done, you can get it. You know, sometimes you got to gut that whole motherfucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Basically, that's what Trip is saying. In order to remodel this fucking country, we have to gut it. A lot of these cornerstones, these pillars, they're
Go lay
faulty.
down.
They're
You know
faulty.
what? I don't know if it's that, man. It could be something as simple as
It's
fucking term limits for the legislative branches of government.
but no, it's going
No, you got
once you admit
but
but
if you
once you admit how deep and how bad racism was, it is going to force and you're gonna have to change everything. It's not gonna be okay, we can just change this.
Mhm.
You have to back and look at as much as we say it's the system, it's not the problem, it's not the system, it's the people. Then you have to look at the stuff, some of the stuff in the system are going to have to be changed because it was put in the system
Mhm.
for the purposes of keeping certain people in power and certain
And
people out of power.
And if you think about
Yes.
it, if there's people saying racism doesn't exist, they're not educated.
At
Facts.
all.
They're
At
not.
all.
They haven't. So you're right.
They
no,
haven't been
that's
educated on
perspective.
they haven't been
That's
educated
perspective.
on what it is.
Or they just don't
And
give a
they've been
fuck.
taught, and they've been taught that it's nothing, it doesn't exist. This is how it's supposed to be. Because
Yeah.
that shit
If
is
you-
learned.
If you have never experienced racism and you've never been attached to somebody who's experienced in their
You breaking
category
up, Trip.
You're
does
breaking up a
not
little bit,
exist.
bro.
Because they haven't been affected by it. They haven't felt
Okay, I see
the
what you're
hurt
saying.
of somebody,
Mhm.
you know, being hurt by racism. If you live in a little bitty ass town and it's just 500 people and all y'all the same color, and there's no
But
there is no racism in the town.
but this shit is national news month over month.
Yeah.
This has been going on for fucking ever. How can you're not
that's
under a rock?
and that's why I say systemic oppression, because like internet makes the world smaller, right? So I've been fortunate to hear different people that are from Haiti, that are from Jamaica, that are from Africa, and they talk about apartheid and things like that. So it's like, and we just think about because to Tripp's point, right? We would almost have to completely get rid of, because I don't think having a race is a thing. I think we should eliminate race as a total, because ethnicity and race, people think they're the same, but they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not. So when Tripp says what he says about we really got to rip this motherfucker out, he's on point, because it starts by like it's race is just kind of like, it was a way to reorganize shit. It was just a way to reorganize shit. So we do have to change it, because people are experiencing this oppression all across the globe. Colorism is a thing all across the globe. Fam, my wife is Filipino. She's told me and talked to me about how things work in Filipino culture, where if you're a darker skinned Filipino, you're treated different. I was on a Facebook Live mentoring call with the homie Paul Moga, and one of the Hispanic brothers, he said something. He was like, he said, I'm upset with my people. He said, when did Latinas all of a sudden can pick and choose when we want to be people of color? So by keeping it on a level of systemic oppression, getting rid of race altogether, then we can start diving into those things, but it's going to take that unity of all people. Yes, it's going to take the unity of all people, because that simple thing, JG, that you talked about limiting terms and things like that, it's like that, for those things to be changed, we have to have way more unity. The people that are oppressing us, they thrive in us being so disorganized.
Because look at it like this.
You know what they're not doing, though, Speak? They don't give a fuck what we call ourselves.
They don't, because
that's why I'm
they still maintain their power.
I don't think that's the first step. It's a step.
I don't think it's a first step, but it's a step that we should consider.
Facts.
But they knew. Like, let's not act like those thinkers of the past were not as smart as they were. They knew that unity would be so much harder than we believe it is. Because why do you think they made it where you have to have 2/3 of the vote to change an amendment?
Yep. Like, based on how many of us it is, we can run the table for a minute, y'all. And then what we do when we see because they looked at the trajectory, and you think about it. Remember, we talked about this on this podcast too. Remember when we used to do a census when we were young? It was way less options.
Yeah.
But they continue to move the goalposts because it keeps them in power longer. It keeps them in power longer, being the quote unquote majority.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I think, man, I'm not here to propose a first step, but there should be some steps that, when I was giving the example of all of these different entities unifying, that we can all consider.
Is public rioting going to bring that change?
Nope.
It brings awareness, maybe, right? But we're already we already knew about this. If no riots happen, we could still talk about the unfairness and still do the same thing without going out there and causing havoc.
You know what? Interrupting. That's a great point, because you know what? I always feel like
they want us to do that shit because it skews the whole picture.
It allows
when stuff like this happens, I feel like because I've been learning about mental health now for well over 10 years, and I'm very very passionate about addressing systemic oppression and all of that. And when stuff like this happens, I feel like, see, y'all, I'm not crazy. because when there's not an atrocity, I still got this same energy, but people are looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dog?
Right.
I'm like, fam, I got the same energy. It didn't take another black man to get killed for me to keep that same fucking energy, bro.
Right.
That's fucking crazy.
Sadly enough, some people are going to say it does. Some people are going to say it doesn't. I'm going to say this. It's going to happen. It's going to continue. It always has happened. It's going to continue to happen. And the next time that somebody dies at the hands of a cop unjustly, it's going to happen, and it's going to get bigger, and it's going to continue to get bigger. And what's going to happen, it's eventually going to spill out of the minority neighborhoods and into their neighborhoods. And what it's going to do is, as much as we don't think that it's going to cause change, it's not going to cause an immediate change, no. But eventually it's going to spill out, and it will get the attention of somebody that it's going to spark some type of change eventually. The sad part is we don't know how long that's going to take.
Yep.
Because the thing is,
11 more riots, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. We don't know, bro.
I mean, look how many years it's been.
Yep.
And it's still the same problem. And the problem is, and we talked about this when I was in grad school, a lot of people have people in power have the attitude of not in my backyard.
Yes.
So it's not in their backyard, so it doesn't affect them yet.
Right.
But when it spills out, it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
And now it's nationwide riots for something that happened in Minnesota.
Yep.
And it's going to continue to get bigger, and it's going to spill out into their neighborhood, and then it becomes not a us issue anymore, but then it becomes a their issue. And then they're going to have to address it. And the sad part is you don't want to see it go that far, especially with us being at our age. We're more sensible. We're more calmed down, especially when you get into your 30s and 40s. You start to calm down a little bit. But then you still always have our young radical kids that are coming up behind us that, you know, their eyes, they are smarter. And you got the age of the camera phone now, and you got the internet. So the shit that they were able to hide from us in our 20s, we can't hide from our kids anymore.
So I think that's not the reason it's going to stop, and I don't necessarily agree with it spilling over, because I think what's going to happen now so much more is in the public eye because of technology that it's just going to go to a private. You know, they're going to, like, cops like that are going to realize they can't act a certain way when they're conducting their duties. So there's certain times where it's still going to exist where it's not in the public eye,
which is how
that's why it's not going to spill over. So the problem is still going to exist. So we still have to really push on the fact we have to do something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whether we see it or not, there is this thing that exists, this cornerstone.
And you know, the thing that we haven't even talked about yet is, well, before I say that, I'll say, I'm kind of right in between your thought, Dima, and your thought, Trip, because when I look at the opioid crisis, the way that people that are addicted to opiates behave is very similar to the way that people that were in impoverished areas, people of color, were behaving when it came to the crack epidemic. So what you see here is, once it became, as Trip says, their backyard, then treatment programs came out of the blue.
But I don't think
and now they're mental health services. And it's like they have shown when it hits their backyard that change happens.
Correct me if I'm wrong. A black cop pulling over a white person may never use that type of force because they don't feel threat of life or are afraid of those, of that individual in the car. So it's never going to get to that point because
I agree with you.
So I don't know if it's ever going to be the same, like where it spills over into the.
And a good point to that point, we haven't even begun to talk about the whole thing about just the.
You might not ever have a black cop do that because you've had black cops kill somebody unjustly and they usually get charged, And
Like
no, it
JG
might
was
not.
talking.
It might
That was
not spill
accidentally.
over in that fashion, Dima. But the thing is, the riots and the protests are not going to always be contained, and that's what I'm saying when I say spillover.
Yeah.
Like the riots right now, it doesn't bother them because it's not, a couple blocks from their front door.
Yep.
It's a couple blocks from our front door.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if I live in Brookfield, oh, they rioting in Milwaukee. Like they don't even consider Brookfield part of Milwaukee when you live in Brookfield.
Yeah, you
Now,
just like you
that's live
see.
in Milwaukee.
That's why we live here and they live there.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
That's why.
At some point, it's going to, and I don't know when this is going to happen, and I hope it doesn't have to get that far, but at some point, it will get to the point where the riot is not just going to be at our front door.
Yep. And I'll be honest
It's
with
going to
you,
be.
I used to be against rioting, but
It actually it already started because I think they
mhm.
went towards Mayfair last night.
And you know,
It's
from
closing Mayfair.
yeah, I heard Target closed all of their stores across the country. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, bro, where it's like I used to be completely against it, but because I was young, and I'll be honest, because a lot of people are throwing around Martin Luther King. So when I always tell people, Martin Luther King was my Michael Jordan. I was way more into what he fought for before I picked up a basketball.
Which
So,
king? But which king are you following?
but I'll tell you. So the thing is, the young me, right? I only saw the
Mm-hmm.
sound bites and the quotes, right? But then as I get older, and I read this book when I was in my 20s, and then it told me a lot. And then people, because like the thing is like, one of Dr. King's daughters just said like, people are using my dad's name in vain, acting like he wasn't one of the most hated people in the country. They hated King,
Mm-hmm.
bro. So the same people that hated him are trying to, okay, let me grab something. But I was so, I was so into that piece that not until I hit my 20s that I begin to understand it. Like, okay, now, like, King wasn't just nonviolent, turn the other cheek. I mean, those last few speeches, bro, was like, I'm not afraid to die, and I'm sick of you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Them last few speeches hit that way. But a lot of people don't talk about that part of Dr. King. They only talk about the "I Have a Dream" speech. Like that's the only speech he ever gave, and it just really puts things in perspective. Where I'm just like, and a lot of people don't even know that the country, the government, they actually, the King estate, they won a lawsuit in 1999 proving that the government did actually have a hand in the assassination of Dr. King.
Sure
Most
did.
people don't even know that fact. So it's like, stop trying to placate us with these comments, because it got to a certain point where he was like, I know y'all tapping my phones. Same shit with Fred Hampton. I mean, they're doing the same shit to us, these up and coming leaders all the time. I mean, so it's just like, we have to begin to take action, and we got to begin to like be consistent with the action, bro.
Yep.
We have
Clear.
consistency, because the thing is, it's just like this pandemic shit, right? Motherfuckers are like, we'll wait it out. They always get like, where do you think outrage marketing came from? History shows we can upset people of color, and then we can throw them a bone and they'll be fine. Yep. History has shown these people, and so they have the gall and the audacity to be like, they'll get over it until it happens again.
You know what, Dima?
Yeah,
I've been really pondering your questions, man. You asked some great questions.
Well, I'm just, and I'm even thinking further. Like during Obama, when Obama was president, it could have been a really good opportunity for him to take those steps for these acknowledgments, empathies, and apologies on behalf of this nation and what it's done.
But what was his obstacle?
He was up against our Republicans. So you know what he did?
He tried to do,
he actually attacked it, and that's why he attacked it systemically.
Yep.
He changed some things that that shed light to some of those things that you were talking about earlier, JG, about not being able to get certain loans and stuff like that, because he knew the Republican deck was stacked against him.
Yep.
So he was like, if I'm going to create something, I have to attack on a systemic level.
Yeah.
And like I said, probably a podcast or two ago, I didn't know how much the administration did until he was fucking gone.
And now you can see Trump trying to undo a lot.
Yeah, because I was saying what you were saying, Dima, when he was in office. I'm like, why isn't he talking about black issues? And I'm like, just my personal growth is like, I wasn't able to see a lot of things that then as I can see now.
What's scary to me is a lot of these leaders aren't taking these positions and stances because they're going to be unfavored within their circles that vote and elect them. And so it's not up to the people that you're trying to please. It's the people around you who aren't looking for that change when the people really are. And this is fucked.
The people may be some of the people.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to remember this. Like, I've been thinking how I could address your question. It's going to be controversial.
Okay.
But fuck it. You know,
we need that. We need that. We need that.
Dima, Trip, y'all the homies. I respect y'all. You hear that? Right on cue. I do not like dogs. I don't like dogs. I just don't. For whatever reason, I just don't. Right? I will never love your dogs like you do.
Yep.
Okay? So when pro-dog legislation is on the ballot, I don't really give a fuck.
Yep.
Right? When you want to spend 5 or 10 grand on the surgery for your dog, I'm looking at you like, man, it's a dog, bro. Are you
could
crazy?
Just bought a new one, right?
You know what I'm saying? Black people are not dogs. But people have to love, they have to be endeared towards a thing in order to do what we're talking about doing. The people don't necessarily value the black man and woman.
Yes.
Check this out.
They should. We're not, hold on, Trip. We're not humans. We're not full humans.
Our culture is, though.
My plight don't mean shit to them. You know what I'm saying? My struggle don't mean shit to. Matter of fact, my plight, my struggle, a lot of these motherfuckers think that shit all my fault. I made bad decisions. I made bad choices. They don't give a fuck, then.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right. So in order for what you were saying, in order for the will of the people, well, I take that back. I'm saying I don't believe that is the will of the people. It should be, because we all people. You get what I'm saying? But just as I may not value your pet as much as you do, there are people, a lot of them well-to-do, a lot of them well-off, a lot of them in power, that don't value me as much as they would value you. Therefore, they don't give a fuck about my struggle. I'm not increasing my property taxes for that motherfucker over there that ain't really shit to me in the first place. I don't give a fuck that JG can't get a home loan because he's from the 53206. None of that shit matters. It should, but it doesn't. That's why you got to do what you can do to make sure those kind of motherfuckers aren't in power positions. Because if you have say you have a law that is punishable by a sentence of 10 to 20 years in prison, and you have a racist in that position that just makes that decision, then the nigga is always going to get the 20.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That doesn't necessarily mean that law is racist, but it is always going to be punished that way because of the person who's in power that makes that decision. Man, if they don't think me and you are the same, then we're going to have to deal with this shit. And that's why I always say the problem is the people, because if you can't change that person's mind, which I think is going to be extremely difficult or possibly impossible to do, then you have to change that person's job. You got to change that person's position. In other words, you got to get that motherfucker out of there. And I think that by
So
rearranging,
check this out, Demon.
putting different people in those positions, I
I
think
think
that gets back to the cornerstone that Trip and Speak were talking about.
Yeah.
But I think it's got to start there, because you're right, Dean. If we fuck up and change the entire system and leave those same people in power, they're going to fuck it up again.
Good point.
Yep.
What are you going to say,
Just
Trip?
2 cents, man.
You about to say something, Trip?
Go ahead, Trip.
And I think my son done got on the game because my shit started freezing and shit. And I don't know if you were here yet, because I know that you came over from Russia. Back in the early '90s, we had an alderman named Mike McGee Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Mike McGee Sr. was probably one of the last aldermen we had that really stood up for the people and really bucked against the system. And you know what they did?
Oof.
They restructured the districts to get him out of his automatic seat.
Yep.
Wow.
Shit can be done, man.
And he's one of those people that, and he would hold rallies, and I think they flipped the police car one time, as a protest against how the police were treating people back then. Because you had the police who would rob the drug dealer and whatever else and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he probably could have gained enough momentum to move from an automatic seat to maybe a mayor at some point of Milwaukee. But they didn't let it get that far, Dima. They restructured the districts, and they combined his district, which is the district we grew up in, me and JG grew up in, with another district. So they can get him out of his seat.
Yep.
And that's classic systemic oppression. We gonna move the goalpost. So we need the Michael McGee Seniors. We also need the Marvin Pratts. We also need the Howard Fullers. And so now you got all these different people. And I'm not saying like them particular, but those 3 names are people that have done things politically and otherwise for people of color in the city of Milwaukee. But what happens is you need those different minds to come together to then address things that become all encompassing. So once we find that common thread, and then, like the butterfly effect, and like the reason why I want to go back to the public health piece, because the fact of there are studies that are already in place that shows that slavery has created more, slavery is just as or more prominent than what veterans went through to come back with PTSD, and how that keeps getting passed down and passed down. The world is starting to acknowledge mental health now, right? They're starting to get more credit and more momentum, and there are things that you can, therapists and all that shit, where you can treat mental health, right? So the reason why I brought up public health is because it's a way to then have conversations, because there are people. I work for a nonprofit, and ever since I changed and left corporate America, it's like, and this is why I kind of changed where I want to go professionally as far as like my overarching goal, because I can help X amount of people as a therapist. But then if I can address things on a more macro level, now it's like, okay, because I'm addressing these things and I'm in front of a lot of stakeholders and decision makers, I get a greater opportunity to do what JG said and change that mindset.
That's a really interesting point, because would you say that oppressors and the oppressed both have mental issues that they need to deal with?
Absolutely.
I don't like saying that, Dima. It may be true. I don't like saying that only because the oppressor, in my opinion, is the villain, is a criminal, and they tend to use this mental health aspect as a way to circumvent.
But if they've been bred to think that it's not an issue, it's a mental state that they're in that they can't get out of.
Because think about it. So mass incarceration, right? Like we look at Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin, over 50, or if it's either over 50% or 50% of black dudes are in prison in Wisconsin. We're not even half of Wisconsin's population, but half of black men in Milwaukee are in jail. That's like flip a coin, one of us locked up, nigga. So it's like, so that's why, and you think about systemically, somebody else of a different color, I've been in courtrooms, I've had boys do the same exact crime. I walk into this is how I learned about shit. And like I'm not a judge, I'm not a public defender, I'm not a lawyer, but what I have seen time and time again is I've been in courtrooms where kids have done the same crime, and I have seen them get addressed differently. So when you make racism a public health issue, now these judges, and you need somebody to hold other people. Now they have to be called to task. It's like, okay, you can't just lean, like you said, JG. You can't lean on that 20.
Right.
Because now I'm being looked at differently now, because I know if you look at the stats about how we sentencing black men and black women, and actually they're starting to sentence young black women more, because black women have been doing such an amazing job with going to school and educating themselves and being entrepreneurs. So some of the oppressors don't like that shit. So now young black girls are starting to be incarcerated and charged now at more high rates as well. So that's why when you make it a public health issue, it's an angle that it's like all, you know,
it gets your foot in the door.
You put your foot in the door, and it's also, I was not expecting that punch. Like, oh shit, you hit hard.
True.
We wasn't ready for that one.
I think,
but you gotta make sure that this Chauvin motherfucker ain't finna do 3 years in a mental health facility for murdering.
Absolutely.
Boy.
But you know what though?
And this
there's
is
still
where
laws
me
against
and
that.
JG,
Right.
But see, me and JG are agreeing on this. If this becomes a thing where it becomes, oh, this is a mental health issue, and I'm not saying
mental health, public health.
Or public, if it becomes a health issue, period, and then it becomes a sickness, and they start to treat it as a sickness instead of a chosen behavior, then that's what me and JG are fearing. Now, my thing is, I'm not saying that people aren't being taught to be racist.
Okay.
You are. And I'm not saying that you don't have a right to be racist. You do.
Yeah,
but
technically,
like JG said, he doesn't like dogs. JG doesn't like dogs, and the fact that he doesn't like dogs is not an excuse to cloud his judgment to think that it's cool to run your dog over with his car.
Exactly. Yes, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. Exactly. And I know you brought up the pedophilia thing earlier, right? And it is some people may think it sounds bizarre, but it's not. It's actually because when we learned about that, it's like, yo, this is a mental health condition, but trust and believe, your ass will still go to fucking jail for it.
Thank you.
You will
don't forget that part.
So
that's what I'm saying.
So like,
that's
I mean,
as
somebody who, well, shit, Trip, I know you took psychology classes as well. So it's like, yeah, this is this, but you will go to jail. And there are other mental health issues that are in the DSM-5 that you can go to jail for still.
But see, when I took class, when I was in psych, I think it was the DSM, it might have been 3 or 4. Pedophilia wasn't in there yet.
Okay, yeah. But, and there's some other ones too, man.
You got my master's in, like, I got my master's, so, you know, I've had my master's for like almost 18 years now.
Okay, yeah, you
acknowledgement and acceptance had to happen before that it became official.
Yeah, so that's why I say if you address this from a public health issue, and not the only way, but to add this component, right? And you add this component, and then an overabundance of love, bro. It sounds corny, it sounds pie in the sky, but when we can love ourselves first and love one another more, and then see this compassion and community that we can create, we have to restore. There's a reason why hip hop changed. There's a reason why Public Enemy wasn't cool no more. There's a reason why Talib Kweli never became mainstream, because he was preaching that real shit. There's a reason why Jay-Z, some may think, like, when I think about Jay-Z's career, and he was way back, you know, if lyrics sold truth be told, it's like there's different ways. He was like, now I'm here, I'm at the top of the totem pole, and I now have influence to address things that affect people of color.
Mm-hmm.
But I never would have projected Jay-Z to be doing what he's doing now. I mean, I just never would have, and just the evolution of people. So I think if we can come at these things from different angles, but then just if that's not your bag, fine, don't go into that room and be a part of that committee. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But
Right.
if this is your lane, go there, be a part of that change.
Who-
If public health is your lane, be a part of that group. But if we have multiple entities attacking the same thing, we'll get greater results
who-
because none of it is wrong.
Damon,
It's just
you remember that movie, that Samuel Jackson movie,
Hold that thought.
View to Kill?
Hold that
No.
thought.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Speak. I was just gonna ask, who are those leaders? Who do I need to support?
mm-hmm.
Because are there like these riots isn't what I'm going to support. Who are the
Right.
people who are working on this change? How can I support
So
them?
okay, so here's one organization, and I've just become aware of this organization like less than a year ago. There's a group. They're called LIT, Leaders Igniting Transformation. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a youth led entity. They're fighting everything systemically. They're and these are young kids, man, like
Mm-hmm.
late teens, early 20s. They're addressing racism. They're addressing systemic oppression. They're addressing what's happening with MPS.
How?
Um, they have presence in all MPS schools. They do with the pandemic. They're doing webinars.
So
They're
they're
teaching.
educating.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
educating.
Educating.
They're doing all of these different things, and
That
it's
helps a lot because other people then think about it and try to make change.
yeah.
Is there on top of educating groups that are taking action? Should we be, instead of protesting, having constant rotation of billboards somewhere reminding people,
Absolutely.
things
Yes.
like that, or
All of the
instead
above.
of protesting, like having groups of people stand on the corner by the freeways holding up certain signs, just
Dude.
reminding people
Yeah.
like this is
The same algorithms, right, that can be used to tell me, okay, Speak likes red. When he logs on to Instagram, we need to make sure we put some red shoes because we know Speak likes red and we know he likes classic Jordans. So we need to use that same psychology that helps and that's magnificent with all other messages that are being marketed to us,
Yep.
and use that same influence, use it for good. There's already psychology behind it. I mean, about things that we're led to, things that we're drawn to. So yes, all of the above. Billboards, ads on social media.
these fucking message boards on the freeway make me buckle up. I see that shit and it's like, this may be your last chance. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not buckled up. I pull that shit over and buckle, so this
all of
thing,
those things.
it's just, but it's not really happening.
No.
So and but that's the thing. So that's why you need just multiple different people. Like like some people
Who
are
are the
not.
power players? I want to,
If I can be brutally honest, fam, and it's no disrespect to anybody who's doing great things, at least where we're from, where we're living, but to say who are the players,
like,
us.
and honestly,
thing is,
it saddens me to say that because I could see opportunity right now in Minneapolis for police officers to stand up and march with these people to help them walk
Some
the
are
streets.
starting. Not in many, but some are starting.
Some are starting.
Good to help them get safely protest,
Dude,
say their message. The governor over there, there's people there that have power right now to speak and be heard.
Dude,
Yep.
when we did when I was referring to the Facebook Live Zoom thing that we did for Black Latino male mentoring, there was an officer. He was there. He attended. He was physically present. Just his presence, him being a Black officer, he showed his presence. And the cool thing for me is like I have like interfaced and worked with this officer through other things that I do professionally. Where I saw him, I was like, oh, I know that brother right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's it's all of the above, bro. But to answer your question, we are the power players. We are the leaders. It's not somebody who, that's the part that we gotta get out
But
of
we're
our head.
choosing to lead our closest, and we choose not to extend it to global and worldwide.
So,
Like you said, you're more of, I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to teach my kids.
But it's the same way, though. It's just like the same concept. We can't just vote for the president. We got to start here.
Yep.
I can't control what's happening in Minnesota.
No.
But the thing is, that's just like, I can't just wait and vote for the president. We do have to start here. Think about it. It's just like our music journey. What all of the major executives tell you? Oh, you got to get a local buzz. It's the same fucking principle, bro. It's the same shit. And my thing is, I believe we are the leaders. I'm challenging us to do something. And these are things in conversation that we'll be having offline, and we'll probably bring them back here to the Melodrama podcast to share. This is not us just talking.
Dima,
We ain't
what were you going to say,
JJ?
I don't know you outside of the podcast, so please don't be offended.
Mm-hmm.
You the fucking leader.
Yep.
There's people in your family that would never ask the questions that you just asked here today on this podcast.
Yeah.
You need to be leading them. You know what I mean? You need to be, dude, I'm telling you, because what you're doing here today is what's necessary.
Yep.
How the fuck can you cure racism if you've never had a conversation with a racist? How the hell can you answer? I mean, we can't find the answer if you don't know that question.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So there are probably people in your circle, in your world, that we don't have access to, that need to understand why you ask those questions and what answers you feel we gave. And you're the type of person who's probably going to research the shit that we said and rule out some bullshit and find the real shit. They need to hear that too.
Yeah.
I don't know who those people are. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, there are people that, like, I wouldn't know. Let's say you got a racist third cousin that I don't know. I wouldn't know how to make that person see value
engage them
for my children. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how to, to the point where he would look at us and just say, man, we all just people. We all want the same shit. You get what I'm saying? But you could. So when the speak says we're the leaders, and when I asked that question before, man, why the fuck do you need to be led? That's what that means, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
We are, bro.
To somebody.
Yep.
For sure. But no, what I was gonna say earlier though was the end of that movie. A lot of people say that movie was corny. It was race baiting.
What movie?
That View to a Kill. When Sam was on trial for killing the two white boys that raped his daughter, and you look at the scene with Matthew McConaughey's defense, and he details the whole entire crime, and he's talking about how the little girl must have felt and all of that shit. And then at the end of all that, he said, now imagine if she was white. And then all the jury, the jury jumped, they shocked and shit, because they had never looked at the crime being as heinous as it was, because it happened to a little nigger girl. You know what I'm saying? But when they looked at the victim as a white girl, then they were like, oh shit, well, that's terrible.
Yeah.
You got to think about what we're trying to... where Sam came out the courtroom and killed him.
Like, yeah, I killed him.
Huh?
Hell yeah, I killed him. I hope he burned in hell.
Yeah,
too.
that movie. Yeah, that one. But so what? It's hard to the hard thing to do, man, is you're gonna have to convince a motherfucker that the system that has worked without fail for his punk ass for his entire motherfucking life, you're gonna have to convince that motherfucker that system is unfair.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
That right there. I mean, but again, that's what we do after this motherfucking Chauvin is locked for however the fuck long he gonna get. You get what I'm saying? We still got to worry about the situation we're dealing with right now. But as far as fixing this shit, as we go into the future, that's what it's gonna take, man. Because you're gonna have to. Them motherfuckers gonna always fight you, dog. Look at these Trump motherfuckers, man. There's always gonna be motherfuckers that try to fight you to keep shit the way it is.
Dima, have you ever seen the brown-eyed, blue-eyed experiment?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you should watch
Google
that.
that. Watch that on YouTube, and it's a white lady. She was a teacher, and she did this experiment with her kids to teach racism. And what she did was she divided them up and between people with brown eyes and people with blue eyes. And she made the people with brown eyes the racists and made the people with blue eyes the minority. And if you watch it, and it got big, and she got to do it around the world with adults, and it'll show you, and it gets kind of long, but it'll show you how people who either have not experienced racism or benefit from the benefits of racism
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously don't have a problem with it because it hasn't happened to them, or they reap benefits from it still being around. Not that they're racist.
That's fact.
But that they benefit from it, so it doesn't cause an issue for them that they want to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, watch that. Like, that'll give you some insight. But then the other thing is, like, the thing now with social media is that we have a platform, no matter how big or how small your platform is, and you can begin to disseminate the information you want, and you'll touch somebody, and hopefully somebody that you touch will share what you share, and you can share, or you can create content, you can share content, and you can become the leader like that. But then, Dima, you have platforms that have huge followings that you can start to share your views and the content that aligns with your views with those people, because those are people that you can reach. Somebody else, like JG was saying, that there's people you can reach. You know, and that's why I don't necessarily say. That's why I keep saying I don't agree with the rioting, but I'm not going to talk down on the rioting, because we have Martin Luther King and we have Malcolm X at the same time, and they attack the same problem from two different perspectives. So I don't want to shit on somebody's method or perspective, because I don't want to take away from the purpose of what's going on and make it become a thing where I'm shitting on them and they shitting on me, and then we just going against each other, and we lose focus.
Because there's still good intentions there's still good intentions in the rioting. Some of those people are there for the march for the message, and
some people have really good intentions, and they're out there for the right reason. You have bad people in every bunch. You have bad people in every profession. You have bad people, and no matter how you group us, there's gonna be bad people. You have good teachers, you got bad teachers. You got good cops, you got bad cops. You got good DJs, you got bad DJs. Like, you just got bad people, you know, in every group. But we can't let the bad people become the focus.
That's fine.
Because the good and the goal that we're trying to get to will never get reached, because we're spending more time trying to get rid of the bad people than move forward. And I don't like, okay, so some people will say that a lot of stuff in the Bible are from old African proverbs. So there's one scripture in the Bible where God tells the people, you let the wheat and you let the tare grow up together, and that in the end he'll separate them. So you let the good and the bad, it's gonna grow together. But and you just have to let it grow. Because if you spend more time trying to tear away the bad, or you try to weed out the tare, you're gonna lose wheat. But you let it grow together, and then you separate it at the end. At the end, the people who got bad intentions are not gonna be there, because they're not there for the long haul anyway. They're there for an immediate gratification and reason if they were there to loot just to get some jeans, once they get the jeans, they're gone. The people that are there for a reason are going to still be there. The people who are there to protest because this is injustice.
Word.
Yeah, still be
They're
there.
going to still protest tomorrow. They're going to keep protesting because injustice is still injustice.
Yep. Until it's gone.
The people who were there on bullshit, they got some jeans, they got some J's, they gone.
Yep. And unfortunately, you're right.
It's fucked up. But I mean, that's just one of the ones. That's some of the shit that we got to deal with to get to where we want to be.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, man, sometimes the worst members of a group had the loudest voices, man. You know what I mean? And especially if you looking to discredit that movement, it's easy to find them dudes, man. But like I said, I had to, like, you got to go search and find like the I haven't seen video. I only seen pictures of the brothers that protected the one cop that got separated from the rest of the cops. And there was a bunch of brothers that surrounded the cop, protected him from the mob because the mob was going to do something to him.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's video, but I have not seen the video, only seen the picture. You know what I mean? It's hard to find that kind of shit.
I shared the pictures from Dave Miller. Y'all know Dave Miller.
Yeah.
That's why I shared his pictures. And in his pictures, they were on 27th and Center, mind you.
Yep.
That's hood. That's where we grew up at.
Yep.
That's hood. And you had white people and black people side by side protesting, like filling the streets. And there was one picture that spoke volumes, and there was a black dude and a white dude. And they both had signs, and they had an arrow at the bottom. And the black dude's sign said, "Is his life more valuable than mine?" And then the white dude's sign said, "Is his life less valuable than mine?"
Yeah.
And they were standing right side by side. And you just got, like, there are people that are there for the benefit of people in general.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you got bad people, but you got some people that are really genuinely good.
Yeah.
The majority, though, see, that's the thing. The problem with Minneapolis Police Department and what happened to Mr. Lloyd, the problem isn't that department is overrun with bad cops. The problem is the indifferent cops.
But you know what?
They ain't really saying shit. This motherfucker, they said they had like 18 charges of.
They had 18 previous
against dude.
So that's
still on the job.
That's a whole systemic issue because the force decided that the previous 18 complaints were not enough for us to.
Fam. How many write-ups you get at work, Dama, before you get fired?
3.
Probably 3, yeah.
3.
The most I've heard, fam,
all 3 of y'all.
The most I've heard is 5. I actually heard him. I know a dude that was on his 4th one. He was like, "Nah, we get 5."
That's if you count. Yeah. You know what? I get it because being an HR guy, the 2 verbals are technically still written.
Okay.
So you get the 2 verbals, and then you get the first written, and then and you get the first written, second written, and then it's like you're the fuck out of here.
So. All right, we're talking about some sort of solutions. What can we do? What if we started a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter page for Milwaukee, where we are month over month raising money to occupy at least 1 billboard? And if we can raise more money, great. We'll do 2 billboards or 3. Maybe we work with an alderman that has a billboard that has a lot of eyes on it from the freeway, and we post messages.
Where? See, that's the thing, Demon. We got to find the spot. Because think about this.
Some of these, where you see all these Gruber and Gruber, whatever.
But you know where you see those at? You see them in the city.
On the freeway.
Those ain't the people we got to reach.
On the
We
freeway,
need-
everybody sees.
Oh,
we need them in Cedarburg. We need them.
But they drive through Milwaukee. They see
see,
them on the way.
yeah. To
there,
Dima's
here, and the
point,
other way.
though, people
Every
drive
day.
into Milwaukee from work.
So we
People
got to
drive
be
all
off
the
of
way.
the freeway then.
So yeah. So that's what I
Oh
think.
yeah,
those-
definitely on the freeway.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most
You know what,
people see.
Dima?
And
So
the
have
people
one on
Kickstarter,
43.
You know what,
all these
Dima?
people who are riding and all these people who want change can donate $1, and every month there could be this message that's clearly on the freeway by the
Yo.
people and the government saying, "Hey," and certain messages that are impactful, make
I
people
one up
think,
you, Dima.
bring awareness, all that shit.
I
Yep.
one up you. When we did that, when I was teaching abstinence and we did that, we had a coalition that did abstinence media. We didn't put it on billboards. We put it on buses.
Oh shit, that's even better. A moving message board.
Yep. We put it on buses, and we put it on several buses.
And honestly, I think both. I think I would.
Those are both great ideas.
I would be down to do both because
basically fundraise
the buses
for
don't
this
go to
messaging.
Cedarburg.
And people can clearly see what the messages will be. People will rally behind them because they already believe in this shit that needs to change. And I think it's very easy to raise enough money to occupy a billboard or a bus month over month for a message that all these people believe in.
Yeah, man. I think stuff like that. I think it's
then the government is going to take notice because they're going to see the popularity of these things and they're going to know that the people want this change and they're going to think about how they move forward in politics.
You know what the first message should be too? It should be evil wins when good people do nothing.
That's great. And it's not really race related. It's more about conscious thinking.
It's right and wrong.
Yep.
It's not color. It's none of that. It's right and wrong. That's a great first message.
Wow.
And that's what I was gonna say, JG, when you were saying about the good cops, bad cops, and different cops.
Mm-hmm.
There was a cop one time that said, and this was a cop, and he said that, people always say that there are good cops, there's bad cops, there are indifferent cops. He said, but the reality is, if you got a police force that has bad cops, and the good cops or indifferent cops aren't telling on the bad cops, then they're all bad cops.
Yep, damn right.
Man,
that's a fact.
That shit is it really is, dog.
That's a fact, man.
So you know what I was telling one of the homegirls, if your dude was whooping your ass and I walked by and saw it and just kept walking, are we still cool? We still friends? You still my homegirl? You know what I'm saying? Because I could have probably whooped dude, or I could have at least helped you. He'd have had to whoop both of us. It would have been lighter on something. I could have done something.
Right.
I just kept walking. I didn't whoop your ass, though. I mean, are we still? Hell no, we ain't cool. Well, that's kind of the point.
It's the same principle.
You know what I mean? That's the same thing, bro. It's like, man, and some people need to understand, man, that this problem is so fucking real. It's so damn severe that inactivity is assistance. It's like that not voting in this next presidential election, dude. You not voting is assistance to the wrong side.
And man.
People got to understand that, man. Your inaction can be a fucking problem.
And while people are quoting MLK, remember he said the silence of my friend is worse than the than the silence than the shit that my enemies are doing to me. I'm paraphrasing because I don't think he said shit.
He probably did.
You know what I'm saying?
Away from the mic when he wrote the shit.
He was like, "But these punk motherfuckers." But so as we bring this podcast to a close, we always want to end with final thoughts, and because the thing is, this could be a fucking telethon.
Really.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's still so much more to be said. You know what I'm saying? And I'll start us off and then I'll end it. But I'll just say one thing, and then we can pass it to Dima. My only thing is just this systemic oppression is not. It's not solely an issue for people of color. So, white people, this is your issue. So everything that you were just saying, JG, leads us here. I mean, it's your issue. if you are not, if you're a non-person of color and you're standing by complicit, it is your issue too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got. Demo, what's up?
Man, I want to take action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna riot, but I really like this billboard idea.
Yeah,
Or the
I
bus
want
idea.
to let's talk offline, guys. I want to see what we
We
can do
should
to
try
try
to
to make
do
this
something.
happen. Yeah, let's talk offline, and I think this is something we can dig into, and I think we can make it
Around us,
happen.
there's a lot of other people who want something to happen, and a lot of
Yeah.
young people who want something to happen. I
Yeah.
think we can rally and think and act without being endangered,
Yep.
but something that brings awareness and, just try to get people behind it.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that here too.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
The other thing is, I forgot in the beginning, just kind of mellowed out a little bit. SpaceX launched this week, and they were able, for the first time ever, with the help of Elon Musk's company, because NASA launched their shuttle, and for the first time ever, with people on board, they were able to release the fuselage tank that launches you up there and land it on a barge.
Wow.
And without destroying it. So now space travel is going to be much, much less expensive, and you can
That's
reuse
actually
things.
dope. Yeah, because you had to buy a whole fucking rocket before.
Yep.
And tear up 90% of it,
Yep.
right? Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That shit just happened. Which was it? Like, my mind was kind of blown because I'm just thinking like the future is like constantly coming, and
think about it. We can do that, but racism still exists.
Right. Right.
You know what? We can do that because racism. They gonna leave us down here, fam. They gonna leave us here. They trying to find, you know what I'm saying, somewhere else to go. You know, it was only one nigga on Enterprise. I'm just saying. And she was,
wasn't even
Shawty was
G.
thick. Shawty was thick. I'm just saying. Keeping it a buck. I would have chosen.
So JG's last words is "chick on Star Trek, boy." Woo!
You know what I'm saying? But man, Trick, you go ahead, man. I still gotta get my thoughts together, man.
I like I said, I like Dima's idea. I'm 40. I'm gonna be 44 in August. I can't march that long, and I can't stand for hours in protest. So my approach has got to be different. But to the young men and the young women that are out there marching, that are out there protesting, holding signs, out there for the right reason, I'm gonna hit you with the Muhammad Ali quote: "Rumble, young man, rumble." And that's it, y'all. This is y'all part of the fight now. You know, that's where y'all can fight at, because I understand that 2018, you really ain't got money. You know, you really ain't got a whole lot of resources, and you are the resource.
Yeah.
So I understand your anger. I understand your pain, and I understand your fear, because I've been there. And your bravery to stand out there and hold a sign and to march. Rumble, young man. Rumble, young people, rumble.
Right up.
That's good.
That's what's up.
That's really good.
I like that shit.
All right, JG. Bring
That
us
could
home,
be
bro.
that could be a good quote for a billboard or a bus too.
Yeah.
With the right picture and message.
That motherfucker might start another riot. That's
So
dope,
they said rumble.
You know what?
You going to jail, fam. You incited a riot.
And not even in the sense of like a riot.
I feel you, though.
Maybe the problem is that, you know how riots starting in the end, protests starting in the end?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It starts and then it ends.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to think. How could it keep going? Yeah.
It get a little attention,
Right.
and then it fade away. Maybe we do need a billboard to say, "Hey, that was just round 3."
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We got, we got 9 more rounds.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a good billboard too.
Absolutely.
Bro, I'm gonna quote the great Bernie Mac and just say, I'm sick of this shit. I'm
Word
sick of
up.
this shit, fam. Dog. If y'all motherfuckers could have seen the look on my wife's face when my son rolled out of here in the car with 3 of his black friends,
Oh man.
and how terrified she was. I'm like, they ain't going no fucking where. They, going to somebody's house, get on some video games, whatever. But 4 black boys in one car. She did not sleep.
Wow.
Damn.
Until that boy came back home. You know what I'm saying? It ain't supposed to be like that, fam.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even supposed to be like that. Like, she just worried about her baby even getting accosted.
Right.
But flat out murdered, my nigga? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Fam, this shit here, man, I'm not letting it go, man. And that's probably the main reason why I stayed off social media. I'm not letting that shit go. I got a lot of friends on the force now. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have hung out with you if I knew you was a cop. Matter of fact, who started? The homie Troy Jackson started that shit. I hung out with that nigga on accident.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And after I hung out with him a couple times, then I found out he was a cop. And I was like, well, but that motherfucker cool. He can't be no cop.
Yeah.
That's where I come from.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I came from not wanting to have anything to do with any of them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
To some of them are okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But now I'm going back to I don't want nothing to do with none of them motherfuckers. Because if you, Doug, I'm sorry, man. Everybody in that fucking precinct, man. Knowing that motherfucker was on the job, I got a problem with every motherfucker in that precinct. I got a problem with the fucking janitor in that precinct, fam. Anybody that had anything to do with come on, man. You cannot, a motherfucker like that, you cannot be a part of his life in any way and not know he was that type of individual, talking about Chauvin.
Yeah.
They knew how he was, man.
Yeah.
Still let that motherfucker put that gun and badge on every day. I'm disgusted with that shit, bro.
Shit.
Something.
I would have refused to be his fucking partner.
Can't be his partner, whatever,
I'm
man.
not putting you in the car with dude.
But the thing is, his partners obviously are like-minded because there's the one image where it's 3 of them kneeling on Mr. Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So they're they know what they're doing when they're all partners.
Man, I'm telling you this, man. I don't believe in a God per se. I don't believe in universal forces. I handle my shit myself. If I have no faith in you, I'm not trusting you with my life. Yeah. Y'all, please understand this shit, man.
Yes, sir.
Do not put me in a position where I feel like I'm not going home.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the shit, man. Something gonna happen, Speak. And if I promise you this, I love y'all, man. It won't be proactive. I won't be on the offense. You motherfuckers ain't killing me, dog. And that's what you putting in the minds. Now, I'm an old motherfucker. I'm an old nigga. This shit's supposed to be out of me already, man. Right. I'm supposed to be in the backyard, happy cutting grass, waiting on grandkids to come.
Yep.
I'm still talking like a fucking revolutionary, man.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm sick of this shit, man. They ain't got to. I'm telling you, man. I'm sick of this shit, bro. Damon, we're gonna have to do that billboard thing.
Man, I was gonna say,
if they smart, let it be that.
And what I'll do before we officially close out, I mean, if you are listening to this on any of the platforms, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, and because we're gonna put something together with this.
This could be a citywide. This could be a nationwide thing.
That's
where
what I'm
every
saying.
fucking city has its own pot that they keep reminding people on how humanity needs to live together.
Yeah. So if you're interested in this messaging campaign, we'll just call it that for the moment. I mean, reply, hit us up at the melodramapodcast@gmail.com. Comment under this YouTube video. Comment under the post, whether it be on IG or Facebook or what have you, if you're interested in being a part of this messaging campaign, because you can be a part and you can start doing something or
I bet you
continue
each
to do
sports
something.
team, each fucking, there's so many people who would support this. So
Yeah,
many organizations who would support this.
absolutely. So we can do this. Us four, we're committed to this idea, and we will see it through one way or the other. But if you're interested in being a part of this, being a part of a solution, like I said, hit us up in all of those places, man. And as we close out, per usual, we couldn't care less. This is heavy, but at the end of the day, we fucking love y'all. So, Melodrama Podcast, y'all. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.